Welcome back, guys. Hope you all doing great. And this is the day 4 of our project series. So far, we have completed the Gmail authentication, server-side coding, and the UI component for uploading the post and everything. And now what we have to do is, so we have to build this nice Masonry layout. And when I tap this, it's take us to the another page where the user can able to see the post and the description about the post, and able to allow the user to download the post and show the top 5 suggestions, and it will give the related post also. And we need to add the comment sections. So these are the things that we have to do in this session, and without wasting your time, let's jump into the video. But before that, if you haven't watched any of this series before, so just click the description below and you can find the complete playlist, and please go ahead and watch that complete series first. All right, let's jump into the video. All right, so first of all, what we need to do is we need to create the Redux we need to make the Redux configurations for fetching the feeds from our server side. So let me go here and let me close everything, close all. All right, so let's keep the editor clean, and over here I'm going to open the context client, context over here, and actions and reducers. So inside the actions and reducers, so now first what we need to do, I need to create a new reducer over here. So let me create called feed reducer over here, new file, feed reducer.js, and I need to create one more file called feed actions.js. All right, so in the feed reducer, now what we need to do is, let me open the user reducer over here. Just like exactly the same stuff we need to create in our feed reducer. So let's go here and let's say const feed reducer equals to, open it, an arrow function, and here this function goes to needs to take two different parameters. One is going to be state. Initially the feed state is going to be null, and we need to pass the action along with that. All right, so now inside here I'm going to use the switch case, so the user can so we can able to switch between the multiple actions according to the actions being triggered. All right, so okay then, so now here inside the switch case we have to supply the action dot type. Then so we need three different sets of action. One, we need an action to get the state, and we need an action to set the complete feeds. We need to update the states, and we need to set the feed completely null. If I want to clear the feed completely, I need to keep the feed completely null. So what I need to do is I'm going to create three different states. So let me copy these things completely from here, and I'm going to paste it over here. So instead of set user, I'm just going to update everything into feed. All right, feed. Oops, it should be capital feed, and this thing, it's going to be feeds and feeds. So basically this is the object that we need to send it through the actions over here, right? So this object is going to come through the actions, and we have three different sets of actions: set feed, get feed, and set feed null. All right, so let's export this. Export default as feed reducer. Save the changes, and let's get back to the feed actions. So let me bring the feed actions, user actions. Where is it? User actions. Okay, let's keep it for our reference over here. And now we don't need the user reducer. So you can see that we have three sets of actions over here, just like exactly the same thing for our feed actions also. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it inside the feed actions. Instead of set user, I'm going to change this to feed. Hold your Alt or Option key in your MacBook and change it to feed. Set feed, get feed, and set feed. Okay, we have to replace the same thing over here also. Copy and paste it over here, and copy and paste it over here. So the type, everything should be exactly the same, because these are the types. Where is it? Here, these are the type. This type and this type should be exactly the same. Get feed and get feed. and get feed null, sorry, what is this, set feed null, all right. So, and this object, instead of user object, you need to send feeds. All right, and here I'm going to get the feeds and I'm going to share it over here. All right, so now our actions and everything is done. Let's get back to the index.js of your reducer folder, and we need to combine our reducer, otherwise it won't work. So here I'm just going to say feeds colon, I'm going to get the feed reducer from the, and save the changes. Now the entire page will refresh. All right, it's refreshing. And if you check your Redux developer tool, and you can see the feeds object right now, it's null because we haven't fetched it and we haven't dispatched it to the state. You can see the state is null. So of course the state should be null because the initial state value is null. All right, so that's the reason it's null. So right now the Redux configuration, everything is done, so we don't have to worry about this now. So now what we need to do is we need to move on to the Sanity over here, the sanity.js right now, but we don't have any work in it. So what we need to do is let's start our server. In my case, my server is already running in the local host. So let me open that local host. Open it. All right, so now it's opening. Okay, so here we are. So post, users and everything. We do have some post inside in it. Now what we need to do is we need to write some queries to fetch. Basically, we need to write a query to fetch it from the Sanity. So what we need to do is, you can see this vision tab over here, which helps you to write the queries and everything. So click the vision tab and that will load this. So over here, now what we need to do is, so this is the place where we need to write the query. So if you want to learn much more about the Sanity GraphQL query, search for Sanity GraphQL. This is the query language that Sanity is using to write the queries and everything in the vision tab, so that you can fetch the data from your Sanity itself. So here, please go through this documentation so that you can understand how to use the Sanity query and everything, and search for query like this. So here you can understand how the query works and how to use the GraphQL queries and everything. You can understand the query completely. All right, so please take your time and go through this documentation so that will really helpful for you. So here in this case, I'm just going to say start. So basically start, and what we can, so okay, start, then open a square bracket, underscore type what kind of document that we are trying to access. So if you open our server, where is our server, and go to the schema folder, and there you can find the post.js. What is the document name we are trying to access? Post. So if the type is equals to post, then what I need to do is I need to open it, enter, and I need to specify the fields. What are the fields that I need to access over here? So in this case right now, I'm just going to say everything. So use the spread operator to fetch everything from that document. So this will fetch everything. Later we can choose what are the specified fields that we need. So I'm just going to say fetch, and you can see it's giving the complete details over here. We have the keywords and we have the user object reference over here and other media and the keywords descriptions. Basically it's giving us everything, but here I can give the specific details that what are the fields that we need. So instead of fetching everything, because you can see some of the unwanted fields also over inside here, like what I'm saying, like created ad, updated ad, these are the bunch of fields that I don't need it. So instead of fetching those fields, I need to give the specific field which I need. So underscore ID, this is the field which is really necessary. Then I need the title. Basically I need the title, so you can give the title. Then I need keywords. Then I need categories. We need the categories, and then we need to fetch the assets. We need to fetch the media. Okay, so we can understand that some of the data, some of the feeds, some of the record having other media, and some of the record having the main image. Basically, main image is nothing but our image attribute, and other medias is nothing but the videos or audios assets. So if you open any one of the field, inside that you can see we do have assets, and inside the assets we are having only the reference file of that particular uploaded file from the data cloud. So but what we need to do is we need to get the URL of that asset. All right, so what I need to do is, so let me going to fetch the other media here, other media, and then open the curly brackets. Inside the other media we do have the asset object, and inside this object reference we have the URL object. I need to fetch that URL object, so that will gives me the URL property of that particular asset. Now right after this other media, this is the place it's getting ended. Then I need to fetch the main image. If it's having the if that object is also having the main image, then of course we need to fetch the main image URL also. Let me copy and paste it one more time, and I'm just going to change this into main image. All right, and right after this command, what are the things? We already fetched the keywords, categories, and now we need to fetch the description about it, and then of course I need at what point it gets created, so underscore created at. Then of course I need the user who created that particular post, so I need to get the user's information. So copy the users colon, sorry, not colon, and open the object, because inside the users object, inside this users reference object, of course it's a reference, so you need to use this arrow mark. If it is a reference object, you need to use this. If you are having a multiple objects inside, so you don't have to add this particular field. So, and inside this users object you can able to see that we do have, where it is, you can see it's having a reference. And if you go to the users object, where it is users, inside this users field, what are the field that we need? We need the display name, and we need the user ID, we need the photo URL. These are the things that is really necessary for us, because since you can see this is a reference, users object is a reference, this is a reference, so of course it will take this document as a reference object over there. So now inside here, now what are the things that we need? We need to get the underscore ID. Of course, underscore ID is going to be exactly the same as this UID, so no issues for that. So underscore ID. Then we need the display name of it, display name. Then we need the photo URL. All right. So now we have this complete informations. And if you go here, you can able to see that collections also. Inside the collections, so if we add like if I save the post or anything, if I mark it as a favorite, so that will comes under the collection object. So of course I need to fetch the collection object also. So here what I need to do is, after this users object add comma, then I need to fetch the collection array. Copy, basically the collections is an array. So if you go here and check the post, you can see that we do have the collections, where it is users comment. Here you can see collections, and you can see the reference of it, because collections is nothing but which user saved that particular post. So all the users informations will be stored in the collections part. So here I'm just going to say collections, and it's an array field, so open an array and then fetch it. Inside that I need the exact same information of that user. Apart from that, I don't need anything else, because that's not necessary to have it. Then of course we need to get the comments also. Who made the comment, who are all commented in that particular post. So far only one comment it's been added, because we tested it when we are creating the server-side coding, and you can see only one comment. And inside the comment also you can get only the reference of that user who made that comment. So we need to fetch that reference informations also. So to do that, what we need to do is, let's add the comments array, get the comments array, and you can see the comments is also the it's referring the document of comments. You can see it's going to refer the documents of the comments, and inside the comment you can see what particular comment and who made that particular comment, right? So we need to fetch the comments array. So it's going to be an array for that. And then inside that comments array, what are the things I need to fetch? I need to fetch the ID of that comment. Then what is the comment message? I need to fetch that comment message. 10. And when that particular comment it's being created at, of course this field will be generated by the MongoDB, the Sanity itself. Then who made that comment? Of course we need to get that user information, so I'm going to copy this users object completely and I'm going to keep it inside this comment array. So users ID, display URL, photo URL. So this is going to be your fetch query. All right, so don't worry about this query completely. I already dropped it in the link in the description below, so please go ahead and copy and paste it. It will work perfectly fine. All right, so now if I fetch it, it's loading and here we go. So now we can see inside the users object, you can see the user ID, display and photo URL, and collections is of course null, comments is of course null because these objects are completely empty, and main image is empty because we don't have the main image object for that particular post, because we do have the video URL for that particular post. All right, so this query is working perfectly as it's supposed to be, but that is only one problem because it's not arranging it any order. It's just giving you as exactly what it saved, at what point it gets saved. But I need to get each and every post in a descending order because the new post should always comes in the top of it. So what we need to do is after here, and you can see that we do have the created at object, right? So this keep track the timestamp. So using this, I'm going to arrange it in the descending order. So here, I'm just going to say or property and order. That is a method called order. And inside this method, open it, and I'm going to supply the field. On what field I'm just going to use this field. Then I'm just going to arrange it in the descending order, DESC. All right, so now let's rerun this post, rerun this. Okay, why we are getting not getting any. Okay, let's create that. Again, what is the mistake? Oh my goodness, this is not supposed to be here, my bad. This thing completely should be chopped out and it should be over here after this square bracket, my bad. All right, so now let's fetch it, and you can see now everything is arranged it in the descending order. The newly created post will be in the top of the order. So what we have the nice beach when you are adding the descending order. What happens if I don't add this? If I remove it and if I'm fetching it, still it's giving the same thing. How come? Let's run it and let's fetch it. Create at, it's giving us the nice beach property. Okay, so if I am not using this, oops, if I am not using that one, what object it's been returning now? Nice beach. All right, so we can't follow through this in this right now. So anyway, I'll keep it and later we'll check that. Okay, we'll keep that thing and later we'll check it whether it is giving the descending or ascending. We'll check that query part later. All right, so I'm just going to copy this, copy it, and inside the Sanity, let's go to the Sanity. Where it is Sanity, let's open the Sanity. All right, so through the Sanity, I need to execute this query. So instead of keeping it this complete query inside over here, so the best approach is to keep it somewhere else so we can keep it clean. So where is the supports.js utils folder, supports.js, and here we are going to write that query. So what we can say, export const fetch query. Basically this is a fetch query which is going to fetch the complete details from the Sanity, and you need to use the dynamic string literals, which is going to be this backtick semicolon, and inside here I'm going to paste that queries. All right, just like that, paste it, And then this, we can use this fetch query object inside the Sanity, so we can fetch these details completely from the Sanity cloud. All right, so now what we need to do is, just 1 second. All right, so let's go to the Sanity. Okay, here, now what we need to do is, I need to say export const. I'm going to create a method called fetch feeds. Fetch feeds equals to open an object, and here we are going to fetch the details from the Sanity. So I'm just going to say, using the client object, client.fetch method, fetch, and I'm going to use that fetch query over here, which is coming from our utils folder, and this is going to return the data. So let's keep it like let data equals to, and we need to return that data. So return data. So basically that will returns the data. So now let's get back to the home container, because that's the container which is gets loaded very first time. So we need to fetch that detail over there, home container, and let's go to the home container, and inside this home container only we need to fetch the details. So let's do that work here. So here I'm just going to say, we need to fetch the details from the state. So const feeds equals to use selector. Okay, it's not showing that use selector hook. So basically that use selector hook, it's coming from React Redux, and we need to fetch the use selector hook. Using that hook, I'm going to fetch the state value, and from the state value I'm going to fetch the feeds. You can see that this is the state that we are trying to fetch, right? Feeds. All right, so now we do have the feeds object in our hand. Then we need to dispatch the actions to the feeds, to the React Redux state. So to dispatch that, I'm going to create dispatch, and I'm going to use the use dispatch method. Dispatch, that's the hook which is coming from React Redux itself. Make sure that is coming from React Redux. Then what we need to do, we need to use the use effect hook, because this use effect will be rendered every time before the component is being mounted to your to the website. But the problem is, during the development mode, the use effect will run 2 times, but when it comes to production, it will run only 1 time. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. This use effect will take 2 different parameters. One is the function and another one is the array dependencies. So I need to run this use effect for only if there is any specific changes for any particular state, or it should run only one time. I don't want to run this or re-render this use effect every single time if there is any changes is happening inside this component. So don't leave this array dependency without giving if you fail to give this array dependency. So what happens, this will run every single time, even if there is any changes happen inside anywhere inside this component. So it's better to keep this empty array dependencies. All right, so inside here I'm going to check if I don't have this feed. So when the feed will be empty, if the feed is empty, I need to fetch it. If the feed is already there, that means if I have something, then I don't have to fetch it, right? That's the point. So we can reduce the cost. Like if you don't check this condition over here, what happens every time the server try to fetch the API, and the number of read and writes will be increased, so that will increase the cost of your. So to avoid that, please check every single time. Only if there is no objects inside the feeds, then we need to fetch it, right? So here I'm going to fetch the data. So what we need to do is, so let's use one more state. So here I'm going to create a state called use loading. So use state snippet is loading. The state is loading, by default it's going to be false, and here I'm just going to say set is loading, it's going to be true, and I'm going to fetch the query. So fetch feeds, that's the method we are going to use it from the Sanity. Fetch the feed, and of course that is going to return a promise dot then, and inside here I'm going to get the data which being thrown from that method, and currently I'm just going to do the console.log that data. Instead of that, we can say home container fetch feeds. And then let's join the data along with that. So we need to know from which particular component that console log it's been happening. So later we can able to remove those console logs and everything. And then what I need to do is I need to dispatch this to our state. So let's go to our feed actions. So inside the feed actions, you can see this option set feed method. So I'm going to copy this set feed method, and I'm just going to say dispatch the set feed action. So basically that actions need to be imported, set feed action. And this feed, it's taking the object feeds as an object called feeds, and it can be anything. So I'm going to supply the data which we fetched from there. All right. And now once it's been successfully dispatched, set interval, using the set interval. So after 2 seconds, I'm going to change the state of is loading as false. All right. And then we can see this is the place where we are displaying this banner image. And after that, we are displaying this hi messages and everything. So this is the place I need to check that object. So over here, I'm going to check is loading. If it is loading, then we need to set display something, or else we need to display something. So here I'm just going to say feeds so far. And if it is loading, then I need to bring that spinner object which we are already having inside spinner component. Let's bring the spinner component where it is. Components folder. We do have the spinner, but why it's not being imported? So let's import it by ourselves then. So import from double dots components, and let's get that spinner component, spinner, and I'm just going to import it spinner, and close it. And now if I save the changes, okay, so nothing is happening so far. Why? If I refresh, okay, use state is not included. It's use state, where it is, here it is. Let's import it, save the changes. So now we can see it's been loading and it's trying to fetch the data, and now it's showing the feeds object. And let's go to the inspect elements and go to the console. Let me bring it to the bottom layer, and you can see home container feeds object. As I said, you can see the use effect rendered 2 different times. This is the problem that we do have in the this current version. The use effect, it's being rendered 2 different times in the development, but when you deployed it in the production, it's running only 1 time only. So now we don't need to worry about it. But here right now we can see we have all the data which we needed, and it's successfully dispatched to our Redux state. So now we can globally access this feeds anywhere at any point in the components, inside the components. All right, so we successfully fetch the details. Then what we need to do, we just need to create this masonry layout, and then we need to supply our feeds object into it. All right, so that's what we are going to do next. Okay, then so now let's jump on to the feed section. So if you have it, look at here, you can see we have this nice masonry layout. So let's go ahead and install this masonry layout first. So to achieve this, so we are going to use this React Masonry CSS. That's the package that we're going to use. So go ahead and please install this package in our project. So I'm just going to copy this stuff, its name, from here, and I'm going to open our client, and I'm just going to say yarn add React Masonry CSS. So that will download it and install it. So let's fire up our server. So let's say yarn dev. So that will start our localhost server, and let's start our client also, yarn start. So that will refresh our development server, and here we go. So it's been refreshing now. All right, so let's go here and have a look at it. So you can see here we're having this nice layout, and you can see when I hover it, you can see at the bottom, you can see that keywords, and you can see the save collections option, and you can see this the button where the user can able to delete it. But this delete option is supposed to show only if that user is uploaded this post, then it's need to display it for that particular user. So this button should be displayed only for the owner of this post, right? Cool. So let's go ahead and achieve that. And later we need to fix this search box and this filter sections and everything. Let's do one by one. Let's first finish this Masonry layout. All right. So now we do have this data in our hand, which is feeds. So this is the place where we need to display those feeds. So let's fix that area first. All right. So here in, and if you notice that, refresh this, and for me right now it will load this, it's loading this feeds instantly. The reason is because we are refreshing it, right? But if you have a look at it, you can see if I make some changes, like for instance, how can I show this things like let's see if I make this loading as true. You can see it's displaying that loading option at the end, but it's supposed to display over here in the center, right? So what we can do is we can wrap this completely into a division. Div, and paste it, and we can make, say, this is going to be width full, and padding it's going to be 12, flex right in center, justify center, and that will display the content in the center somehow over here. That's make it more reasonable so the user can able to see it much better, right? And now I'm just going to revert this thing back to false. By default it is supposed to be false. Now I can see the feeds over there. Let's do the same thing over here, like division, and let's add the class for it, class name, and of course it's going to be width full, and the items, everything would be to center, justify it's going to be between, and flex it's going to be wrap, and gap between each and every element it's going to be 3, and px it's going to be 8, and py it's going to be 6. These are just trial and error, so you can adjust your designs according to the content later what you are going to display over here. All right, so now enter. Inside here I need to bring that Masonry layout, so let's go ahead and create our Masonry layout. So Masonry layout, basically this is the component that we need to design, which we haven't designed yet. Masonry layout, and I'm going to create a property called feeds, and I'm going to supply our feeds over here. So let me copy this component, and let's go here and create that component, new file, Masonry layout.jsx, rafce, save the changes, index, and let me duplicate this file, and let me say Masonry. Let's copy this and replace it over here. Now it's been successfully exported, and now let's go here, go to the home component, and let's import it from the components folder, save the changes. Now that error, it's been gone, but it's supposed to display the records, right? But we can't see anything over here. It's supposed to be displayed Masonry layout, so let me refresh it. Now you can see it showing that Masonry layout. Okay, so now inside this Masonry layout we need to update few changes over here, right? So if you have a look at it, you can see when you're adjusting the screen size, you can see when you're adjusting the screen size, it's been reducing that Masonry layout automatically. That means when it comes to mobile view, it's taking the complete length, but when it comes to the medium devices, you can see it's adjusting that Masonry layout, and when you're expanding it, it's adjusting according to the screen size whatever we're having. So we need to add those breakpoints, right? So first what we need to do is we need to get that Masonry first. So here, import Masonry from React Masonry CSS. Maybe it is, yeah, Masonry, and then inside here, I'm just going to change everything into that Masonry object. Masonry, enter. And right after here, now what we need to do is, I'm going to get the properties over here, basically, which is going to be the feeds. We need to get that feeds. All right, save the changes. All right, and then I'm going to define the breakpoints over here. I'm going to define the breakpoints. So const breakpoints object equals to open it, and by default the breakpoints object, it's going to have default, because this is the breakpoints object that you need to supply for your Masonry layout. So it's going to be 4, and when it's crossed 3000 pixels, it's going to be 6, and for 2000, 12,000, you can adjust this layout according to your wish, but in this case I'm just going to leave it as it is. All right, and I'm going to supply this over here. So class name, it's going to be flex. All right, and inside here, breakpoints object based columns, it's going to be the breakpoints object, which we do have. All right, and then inside here, according to the feed records, we need to display the feeds, right? Of course, we will fetch the feeds from there, and we are sending it over here. And I'm just going to render it feeds conditional dot map open it. I need to get the feed. Along with that, I need to get the index, so I can use that index for a unique key, so that we don't get that warning. Then over here, instead of giving the custom divisions, for instance, let's say, and if I'm giving the key over here, key and then I can say feeds, just a feeds, save the changes. And what is this? Okay, so I haven't imported properly. All right, and now we can see we have 3 times the feeds object. The reason is because we only have 3 objects inside of it, right? That's the thing. So what we supposed to do is, basically, we need to create one more component over here. Let's create a new component, new, and let's keep it as feed.jsx RAFCE, save it, and let's go to the index.js, and let's copy this and export it, and let's change this to feed, and here also to feed. All right, cool. Now save the changes, and let's get back here, and in this Masonry layout, instead of this stuff, I'm going to use the feed, which is coming from the component stuff, but not from here, component, and this is supposed to be an object. Yes, and here I need to get the key, so key is going to be that index. Then I need to get the data property, and I'm going to supply that feed property over here. Each feed will be passed on to this particular component. So let's get back to the feed component. Still you will get the exact same output, because inside here also we do have the feed. Now what inside this feed, what we are supposed to do is, we need to create that complete design over here. So for that, if you have a look at it, you can see overall it's taking that complete image or a video, right? It's taking that image or a video and it's displaying it. So let's go ahead and do that. So here for the class name, of course, I'm just going to say margin. So around that each and every division, I'm just going to keep a margin, and I'm going to keep it as a relative space. And inside here, enter, I'm going to create a division div, which is going to have a class name as a relative position and cursor pointer, and width is going to be auto according to the breakpoints. It should adjust it, and round LG, rounded, it's going to be LG, rounded LG. Then shadow empty, and overflow, it's supposed to be hidden. All right, so let's enable the word wrap over here. Cool. Now inside this division, if I do have a data.main image, that means if you can see here, few feeds having the image property and few feeds having the other media property. So if your feed, for instance, if your feed is a video, so we need to add the video tag over there. If the feed is an image, we need to keep the image tag over here. So I'm just going to conditional render it. So if that data does have that main image, let me open any one thing, and you can see if the data have this main image. So let me copy. I can't do anything over there. All right, so let me keep it. So I'm just going to pin this change is where it is, pin it. All right, now I can see this. Okay, still I can't copy it. Come on. Okay, let me type it then. Main image. If it does have the main image, then let's render it. And I'm just going to create a link tag, basically because when you click that, it's supposed to redirect to that specific pin ID, right? So that's the thing we are going to do. So let's bring that link tag from the reactor.dom. Make sure that is being imported from the reactor.dom. Then to object. So to, what we are going to do is, it's going to take the user to the feed hyphen detail, which this particular route which has not been yet created, and we need to create it later. I'll show you how. And I need to supply the, let's bring the string, dynamic string literals, the backtick, not the normal string, single quotes. And here I'm just going to say feed detail slash dollar, open the curly brackets, data underscore ID. So we are supplying the ID with the specific route, and later from there we can fetch that ID and we can get that complete feed details, right? Inside this link tag, I'm going to bring that image tag, and over here this class name is going to be like widthful and hatchful. And for this image source, I'm going to get that data dot main image dot asset dot URL property, because by the time when we fetch the query from here, what is the thing that we do have? See, inside that we have this URL property, and that's the thing that we are supplying. All right, and then for this class name, what we are going to do, width is going to be full and height is going to be full, and object is going to be cover. That should take the complete length. Save changes, and data, it's showing an error for us. The reason is because we haven't get that data prop, because that is the data prop that we are sending it from here, data. So let's go ahead and get that data prop. Save the changes, and now it's supposed to show that image, because the video is not showing because we don't have that video property yet. So we need to add that video property too. I'm just going to copy this completely, copy it and paste it. Instead of main image, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show other media, because that's the property that we do have for videos. So other media, but instead of image tag, I'm going to keep it as a video tag. And source is going to be exactly the same, class name is going to be exactly the same, but along with that I'm going to add few properties over here called loop, video should keep on running, and autoplay, and of course it should be muted. So save the changes, and now you can see it's displaying that video, and the video is also playing. Cool, right? So then what we need to do is, now we need to bring that the hovering stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we need to do is, this is the place where that media it's been. Okay, so now here I'm going to say okay, let's bring that division first, then we'll do the hover part. So class name, I'm going to keep it as an absolute, and inset x0, that means it should be pinned to the left and right and over the top also, and px3, py2, flex, item center. So all right, so then inside here, now we need to create one more division, class name, and this is going to be dynamic string literals. What is that? Give me a second, 1 second. All right, so over here, so what we do have, you can see we have this collections object, right? But if you notice here, if that collection is not yet saved, if you haven't added this to your favorite collections, you can see it's displaying a white color, but it's saved, you can see it's showing as a green color. So we need to show some differentiations over there, right? So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a state to monitor that. So over here, we're going to create a state. So use state snippet already saved. Then if that's so, I'm just going to, for the time being, I'm going to keep it null. All right, I'm going to keep it null, or yeah, for the time being we can keep it null. And then let's go down, scroll down, and over here I'm going to bring the dynamic string literals. Over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write these styles based on the two different colors over here. By default, it is going to be width 8, and height is also going to be 8, and rounded empty, flex, and item center, justify center, and of course it's going to have a border. So border space. And if that is already saved, then the border color should be green. If it is not, it should be gray. So I'm going to say dollar if already saved, then border gray, not border emerald 200, or what we can say, we can keep it as 400. I think that would be enough. And if it is not saved, then border should be gray 100. All right, inside this division, save the changes, and now you can see some borders over here. And inside this division, I need to bring that bookmarks. So that is also going to be two different icons, right? So what we can do is, so maybe what we can do is we can bring that bookmark. So that bookmarks is going to be coming from your icons, React icons. So let's go ahead and import that, import from React icons /md, and that is going to be md bookmark. So md bookmarks. Copy this, paste here, slash it, and class name, and this is going to be dynamic string literals. And then inside here, basically it's going to be text Excel only. Then if it is already saved, then it is supposed to be in a green color. So text emerald 400. If it is not, then it is supposed to be text gray 100. So that's the problem. So save the changes. Now it's supposed to display it white color because none of this posts have been saved and we haven't written any of this logic for that particular thing. So now it's displaying the icon over here. So let's leave it right up there, and later we will be about this part, like how we need to make sure that is already saved or not. All right, so then what's the next part that we have to do? We have to display this keywords, and we have to display this delete option if that particular ID was created by this logged user. All right, so we need to make sure who's the owner of that particular post, and make sure that post is displaying only for that owner. All right, no, sorry, not that post, that delete option. All right, so then this is the top section, and right after here I'm going to create one more division, which is absolutely going to be the bottom section. And for this particular division, I'm going to copy the CSS class, and of course, which is going to be a very big one. So please take your time, pause the video and write this complete CSS stuff. So basically what I'm going to create it, I'm going to create a bottommost layer and I'm going to add a gradient style for it, which is going to be a mild gray color and the background blur options and everything. All right, so please take your time, pass it and add that particular stuff over there. And here I need to display the keywords. So if you open your keywords, if you open any post, you can see the keywords, and we do have certain types of arrays object over here, right? So we need to display those arrays details over here, and you can see it's displaying at the top, but it's supposed to be at the bottom, right? So what do we miss? This is supposed to be what are we missing? Okay, let's try to add and then we'll fix that issue. Let's fix that issue later. Let's try to add this thing first. Insert X, and this is going to be the top. It's quite confusing. All right, so let's fix this. So data dot keywords, if we do have the keywords, then only we are supposed to display it. So we need to wrap this thing. Enter. We need to, this is supposed to be, this entire division is supposed to be inside this condition. So let me push this up and let me bring this division. So basically this complete division should be displayed only if you have the keywords. All right, and inside here I'm going to say data.keywords.map, because that's an array, right? So if it is an array, and you need to make sure that keywords is not more than 3, because we are not going to display all the keywords. You might want us, the user might add 10 to 20 keywords. We can't display everything over there. So I need to slice it up. So that is a method called slice. I'm going to use that property. So starting point is going to be 0, first index, and it makes sure it's getting only the third index. Until that, I'm going to get that and I'm going to map it. I'm going to re-render it completely by using the object tag, get that particular tag name and the index property, and I'm going to get the callback function. Inside here, I'm going to get the paragraph tag and I'm going to display that tag name. And we also make sure that tag name is not more than a very specific character length. Right now it is totally fine, right? But sometimes it might have a very big text letters, like 16 to 12 to 14 letters continuously. So I need to check that also. So that's what I'm going to do. Open it and use the dynamic string literals. I'm going to get that tag name tag. If the tag.length is greater than like 10 or something, let's keep it in that way, 10, then I need to slice it up. So dollar, let's use the backtick, dollar, open it. Then I'm just going to say tag dot slice from 0 to 10th index, 10th character. After that, I'm just going to add 3 simple dots. If not, what I need to do, if not, then I just need to add the tag name. Simply just keep that tag alone. Say the changes, and right now you can see it's showing beach, nice and everything. Let me check the character like 2, and you can see it's just adding that triple dot over there, that 2 different dots over there, right? So that's the point over here. If that character length is more than 10, so we can add the 2 dots. So user can make sure, like, understand that that's having a very big character length sequence. And I'm going to add some styles for this paragraph tag, class name, and of course this class it's going to have a key object, which is going to be the index, which we fetched from the loop, and the text size is going to be small, and the font is going to be semi bold, and the text is going to be gray 50. Save the changes. Now you can see that text color. But the problem is this is supposed to be at the bottom. But why it's not getting to the end? The reason is because probably because of that layer. You can see that is not taking the parent layer, which is this anchor tag. All right, so I understand the problem. This entire thing is supposed to be inside the link tag. That's the thing. So this is that. Where is that division? Division. This is the division. All right, this is the division. I kept this as an absolute layer. Okay. This is top, and where is that bottom layer? Copy this, inspect elements, and this is the bottom layer. Where is it? That, and that's the top layer. Okay, so I think I confused you guys over here. All right, this is at the top, right? And this come on, it's confusing right now. This is supposed to be inset 0, and for this particular division we should keep it, save these changes, and so I confused a bit over here. This is absolute layer, right? This is what that we do have absolute. Now it's taking the absolute layer, flex everything in the item center, and let's keep it in the justify between, save the changes, and instead of keeping this as an absolute, let's delete it, save the changes, and this is going to be flex column. No, that will be a problem, because otherwise you can't be able to click that background image, so it will not navigate to the separate section. That will become a problem now then. All right, I think the best solution will be, let's keep that particular division completely at the top. Let's keep this complete division at the top, and let's keep this section completely at the bottom, right after here. There we go. Look at that. The problem is I wrap this complete stuff inside this division, this layer. That's what it's keep on confusing it. So this is complete top section, and this is complete bottom section, right? That's good. Now we do have the two different objects over there. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to bring that delete option. So let's go ahead and bring that delete option. Okay, so we need to display this delete option top of it, even when you're hovering it or not hovering it. That doesn't matter. We need to bring that delete option. So before jumping into that delete option, let's fix this hovering first. You can see here, when I'm hovering it, I can able to see that the two different options, right? So let's go ahead and finish that first. So I'm going to create a state over here. Use state snippet is forward. It's forward. By default, it's going to be false. So what I'm going to do is, so basically, whenever my mouse enters this complete division, it's need to be true, and then when it's leave, we need to make it false. So this is the entire division, the parent division, right? So on mouse enter, mouse enter, I'm going to call a callback function, and that's going to say set is forward as false. And on mouse leave, I'm going to copy this. On mouse leave, I'm going to space it, and I'm going to say it as true. When the mouse enter, it should be true. On the mouse released, and then it should be false. So this will make the state update. And then what we need to do is this division, and then this division is supposed to be displayed only if it is forward. So dollar is forward, and then we need to display those sections. And basically you can see these are two different divisions. So if we want to wrap it inside a single thing, we can't create a division. We can create a React fragments, because you can keep two separate divisions inside these things. So I'm just going to create a React fragments, and I'm going to paste it, save the changes. Now you can see it's hidden, and when I'm hovering it, it will come inside like this. Cool, right? And let's go ahead and do that. What's that? That division part. All right. So this is the place that division is being getting ended, and right after here, I'm going to bring that the delete option at the top of it. So we need to display that delete option only if that user. We need to get the user state also. So from the use state, so const user equals to use selector, and then from we need to get the state object. From the state, I'm just going to fetch the user details. Okay, so if the user object is there, then and that user UID, the user ID should be equals to data dot users dot underscore ID. If the post is created by that logged in user, then he's the owner. So we need to display that part. We need to render this division, and basically this division is going to be in the absolute position. So I'm just going to copy the code which I created. Basically we are going to create a circle shape with a background white color, and inside here I'm going to bring an icon which is going to be a delete icon. Copy it and paste it here, and we have to import this empty delete, save the changes. Now you can see that delete options. Okay, option over here, the delete, and this is the post which is not created by ourselves, because this is created by the sample ID which we created initially. By the time when you are checking that server code, I created a sample user, so that's the reason it's not showing that delete option over there. That means our code which we written, it's working perfectly as it's supposed to be, right? Then all we have to do is to add those functionalities one by one after another. So let's fix that delete option first. Let's fix this delete option. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a delete event for this particular division. For this division, I'm going to add an on click event. Whenever I'm clicking it, I'm just going to say feed delete. I'm going to create a function to delete this feed. And basically this feed delete, so to this feed delete, what we need to do, we need to send the data ID which we do have it in the global object. So I'm going to create const feed delete equals to, and inside this method I'm not going to send any property, because we can directly access that particular ID, this particular feed ID, from the global object of our property. All right, so I'm going to create a method in the Sanity. So let's open the Sanity, sanity.js, where it is. Yeah, here it is. And right after here, I'm going to write a code to delete a feed. So export const delete feed, because there itself I use the term called field delete. So I'm just going to reverse it, and I'm going to use it over here, async. And that method is going to take an ID, which is going to be the data ID, the feed data ID, a callback function, and I'm just going to make sure that it's completely waiting. That's the this until it's successfully removed from the cloud. That needs to be wait. That needs to wait until it's successfully removed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this function as an asynchronous function. So this function will wait until this action is being successfully done. So client await client dot delete id, and that's going to return a promise. So let data equals that, and let's return that promise to the main, the function where it's been get called. Save changes, and let's get back to the feed. And over here, I'm just going to call that method, and that method is going to be delete feed, and I'm going to send the data ID. So data dot underscore ID, then that's going to return a promise, and I'm going to get a callback function in it. And then now what I need to do, I just need to either we can refresh this current page, because once the post is successfully deleted, we need to refresh it. So I'm just going to say window dot location dot reload. So current location will get completely reload. So to make sure whether it is successfully working or not, so what we need to do, we just need to try it. Let's hit it. I think I delete this video. So now it's being refreshed, and the data, proper data will be fetched, and it's not deleted. Why? Let's go to the state still we do have. So let's go to our desktop, go to the post. Here the data, it's been successfully deleted, and it's not being fetched properly. Here we go. That's taking a few seconds to get some changes. All right, so now that means our delete function is successfully working, right? So that's the reason it's successfully being deleted from that particular post. So delete function is working perfectly as it's supposed to be. So now what we need to do is we need to add this add to collections. That means if I want to save this post, that's supposed to be added to, marked as a collection, that I saved that post, right? So to do that, what I'm going to do is I already created a state over here, right, to mark that changes and everything. So I'm just going to update it. All right, so I'm just going to update it. So if this particular post, which is already added to my collections, for instance, every post have a separate object called collections. So I just need to add the reference users data as a reference. So whoever the users who already saved this post, I need to add that user ID as a reference over here. Just I need to save the user ID to this particular post inside the collection object, and later I can check that users object. If that logged in user already inside this collections array, then he already saved this post. So that's what we are going to do now. So what I need to do, when I click this, that's supposed to push the logged in user ID to the collection object of this particular post. So let's go ahead and do that thing. So where is that thing? So we need to call on click event. So where we are supposed to call that on click event, and this is the division. So for this division, I'm just going to say on click, and whenever I'm clicking it, I'm going to call a callback function, and that is going to call this method save to collections, and I'm going to send the data dot id underscore id for the which particular post. Then I need to send the user ID, what particular user it's currently being logged in. That we can fetch it from the user state, UID. So copy this function, and I'm going to create that function at the top of it. Here, const save to collection, and basically that is going to be an asynchronous function, async, and that's taking two different ID and user ID and a callback function. Make sure that you're sending the ID first. I'm sending the post ID first, then I'm sending the user ID, right? So the first ID is for post ID, and the second parameter is for our user ID. And inside here, all we have to do is to make sure that whether we need to figure it out whether the user already saved the post or not, right? So how we can make sure? So I'm just going to display it. So if the user is already saved this post, already did save this post, what we have to do, we have to display it in a different color. So that we can do it in the use effect function. So whenever the document is being, this component is being rendered, if this logged in user, if he already saved it, then that particular user ID will be inside the collections array. So we need to check that, and then we have to display that coloring property. Before that, let's fix this. So if that, we have to save it to the collection only if that is not already saved. So if not already saved, then I need to save it to the collection. So I'm going to create an add to collections in the Sanity. So let's go here and let's create that API functions first. So over here, what I need to do is I'm going to say, let me copy it and paste here, and let me explain it. So we are creating a function called add to collections and then sending the post ID and the user ID, and I make sure await client. So to update anything, you need to use the patch method. I'm going to update this particular post and set if missing that collection object. If that post ID doesn't have that collection array, then it will create that collection array and it will try to insert after the collection -1. That means -1 indicates the last index. So that's the reason. And the key, we are trying to create a unique reference for that particular reference ID, what we are trying to do. Then we need to give it what kind of type that we are going to do. It's a reference type, and we are adding the reference object as the user ID. That particular logged in user ID, we are passing it as a references. So that will add it to the collection object. So let's go ahead and make sure whether it is working properly or not. It's showing the user ID. It's not, of course, it is not imported. So what we need to do is, let's go to the top and let's add this line over there, that user ID, the unique identifier. So now you can see that error is being gone. And what I need to do, I need to call this method straight away in the feed section over here. If it is already saved, then over here, add to collection. So send the ID property and the user ID property in a perfect order, and that is going to return a promise. Open it, and it's going to get the callback function. Enter, and here also I'm just going to say window.reload, window.location reload, window.location.reload, save the post. Now what it's supposed to be happen is, if I click this, it should reload. It's reloading. I hope there is no mistakes. So currently it's not showing, the color is not changing, but if I have to make sure, and if I go here and if I scroll down and under the collections object, you can see that user reference, because this particular user, it's marked this particular post as a favorite post. So I can get that user ID. Just like the same way I can add multiple different users. So I just keep on that user reference will be added over here. So now the functionality which we implemented, it's working fine, but the coloring changes is not happening properly. So to do that, what I need to do is I need to write a use effect hook, Then inside this use effect hook, I'm just going to implement a functionality. So basically it's an array, right? The collection object is an array. So we need to return, we need to make sure we need to use the filter function. So if that ID, the login user ID inside that collection array, then of course it's going to return the object. It's going to return an array back. That means, for instance, let's say I'm searching for the value 1. Let's assume that 1 is the ID, the login user ID, and we do have the array objects like 3, 4, and 1, right? So then if you're trying to filter it, then 1 is inside. So one is inside. So filter method is going to throw that array which is having that matching filter functionality. So you will get the array, outside array, as 1, right? So then if you're trying to check the length of that particular array, it's going to be 1, because we have only one matching field. So the filter function will return only one array value. So the length will, of course, it's going to be 1. But 1 officially means it's true, but we can't use that number. So I need to change this number into a boolean. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to say not 1. If you're saying it is a not 1, that means it will change it as a false. So I need to convert this into a not false, then it will be converted into a true, right? So number will be converted, then we will change it as a not 1, so it will gives you the value as false. If you change it to not false, then it will gives you the value as true. We can't directly convert a number, but we can approach this method. We can convert, we will get the true or false result, right? So just like the same way, assume it that now if I'm searching for 5, of course 5 is not inside this array, right? And over here, if I'm trying to get that array, it will return an empty array. So the empty array length, of course, it will be 0. If you're checking for not 0, then you will get the value as true. If you are checking for not true, then you will get the value as false, right? This is the logic that we are trying to implement at this particular place. So I'm just going to say set already saved, open it, and all I'm going to do is to find the length of this particular state. So you can see here we are applying the not functionality 2 times. So if you are feeling struggle to understand this, the not option like 2 different times, you can approach it in a single way, just like this. We can do this thing in a simple term, right? So what we can do is just like this way. Let's say that you're having the array called 2, 4, 1, and you're trying to apply the filter method, and then I'm going to get the number 1 by 1. I'm going to call back the function. If the number dot value or something, the number dot value property, it's equals to 1. That's the ID that I'm looking for. If the number dot value is equals to 1, then I need to get that length. So I'll get that length. So that will give this option. Then I need to apply 2 times the not function. So let me wrap this into a bracket, and I will add the not 2 times in front. That also will gives me the exact result what I'm applying over here. So over here, I'm just going to say data dot collections object. I'm going to filter it, and I will get the item inside that each collections item. If that collection items dot underscore ID, if it is equals to the logged in user dot underscore ID, so that means UID, then we will get the length of it. We will get the length of it, dot length. We will get the length of it. And if I console log it instead of directly applying the changes right now, console.log, paste it. I added extra brackets over there, that's the reason. Now if I open the console.log, over here we are getting the errors. We can see we are getting the values as 0 and 0 because initially it is undefined. The reason is because the component is not been mounted, and later we are getting the value was 0 and 0. So if I wrap this completely, if I wrap this like this 2 times not, then we can see we're having the value as false and false, right? So we are getting the value as false and false. So let me refresh this and let's recheck it one more time. We are getting the values, and you can see true, false, true, false. Reason is because this is successfully already saved. That's the reason we are getting true, and this is not saved yet. That's the reason we are getting false. So that means the option that we are applied over here, it's working perfectly. And I'm just going to push this to set already saved state, not over, set already saved. Save the changes, and now if you have a look at here, you will get the color changes over here because this post, it's successfully been saved. And if I want to save this post also, all I have to do is to click this functionality, and that will refresh it. And let's go here and let's see this post is updated now. And let's go here and let me check the collection property, and you can see 2 users already successfully saved this collection, saved it inside to a collections. And let's go here, and still it's not updated. Let's refresh it one more time, and now you can see the collection property, it's successfully there. Cool, right? And what I am going to do is I'm just going to change this into cursor as a pointer cursor. And now, yeah, here why it's not showing the cursor pointer? Here it's working perfectly, but why? Let me add I already added the cursor pointer over there, but it's not changing the cursor pointer for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's changed, and let's refresh it. Don't know why. I added the cursor pointer, but it's not changing. Don't understand quite now. Okay, so anyways, okay, the cursor property is not working for, okay, it's working over here, but why it's not working? Oh, now it's working, but for that only it's working. What's happening right now? See, now it's working. Don't understand what is happening. Maybe there is some lag or anything. No, my PC, everything is fine. All right, so let's see. So the add collections object and the delete functionality is successfully working. Cool. Now all you have to do is so please pause this video and go ahead and add few more objects over there, so that we can able to able to see the multiple objects over here, right? Just like this, like the multiple feeds. So take your time and add multiple feeds over here. So in this case, I'm just going to pause the video and I'm going to add multiple feeds. Okay, then so now I added few videos and images over here, and you can see we have a bunch of options, like bunch of videos and everything I can able to see over here. Cool, right? So now what I need to do when I'm uploading it, I face some issue. That means once I saved it, it's not fetching the details back. That's the thing I faced, and it's an issue, right? So once I upload a new video or anything, it's not fetching the data back. So the better approach, it's better either fetch the details and upload dispatch the state, or just reload the page. Okay, in this case what I'm going to do is right after this is the place that where we are saving the detail, saving the post, and this is the place where we are saving the post, right? So right after the saving, I'm just going to say window.location and .reload. So after saving the post, every single time this page will get refreshed, so that will fetch the detail from the web page. Okay, and that is some slight delay in the Sanity, so I'm not sure why it's happening, but for the time being, just now only I'm facing that issue, because the reflection, it's been uploaded directly, but when you're trying to fetch the details from the Sanity, it's not getting the details instantly. All right, so I think I'm not sure where the problem is, that 2 to 3 seconds delay, like after 2 times when you refresh your data, the data is fetching properly. Maybe now even I disable the CDN link, because if you enable this option, what happens, it will try to look for whether you deployed the Sanity server or not. So like the Sanity server, currently it's running in a local host, but even at the local host, it's taking like 2 to 3 seconds delay, maybe because of my internet connections. If you are if you also facing this exact same issues, drop that in my comment section. So let me know how many of you facing that exact issue, so that we need to figure it out what exact that mistake is. Otherwise, I'm the only person right now getting that mistake. All right. So now we added this post. The problem is when I tap it, you can see it's navigating to a very specific ID. So we need to create that particular route. So that's what we need to do next. All right. So what we need to do is, so that's leave us to I think that is inside our new post containers. No, not there. Then it is inside our home container. Where is our route? Main route. I think that is inside our main route. So we need to go to our app.js. So let's navigate to the app.js. So this is the place. So right after here, copy and save these changes. And if it is coming through where? If you are clicking it, it's taking the user to this feed details, right? Copy this. If should take the details to the feed details. And here I'm going to get that specific ID. So that ID is going to be underscore ID. Make sure that you're adding this colon over here, then only you can get it from the URL prompts. All right. So, and this is not going to render the new post. This is going to display that feed detail, complete feed detail. So let's create a new component called feed detail.jsx or AFCE. Let's click the index, copy this, and make sure this is as a feed detail. Copy it and paste it over here. Save the changes, not necessary of that method. Close this, and I'm just going to get that feed detail. Save the changes, and now we are inside the feed details. Cool, right? So what we can do is, so I'm just going to work with the feed detail, and the first thing what we do have when I tap this, so I'm having this menu option over here, just exactly the same way what we did for new post. So let's go there. Where is the new post container? Over here, and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to, okay, create post is not necessary. And where is that? New post is also, we copied it. Feed, where is the feed detail? I haven't opened it. Here it is. So just replace this, leave the last division because we haven't copied that division. Okay, now it will throw the error for this new post. Save the changes, and now here we go. Cool, right? So now we do have that option, and the feed detail, now it's working perfectly as it's supposed to be, but I don't need this 340 size. I'm just going to make it to 240 pixels custom size. So now it's reduced to that particular size. All right, so this division is successfully done. Enter. So then what we need to do, we need to bring these options over here. Like we need to bring this filter section, worry about it later. We need to bring this image, and we need to bring this the right side sections and everything. So basically what we can do it, we can keep it as a grid. So I'm going to create a division, and inside that division I'm going to have a grid options. So we are going to keep a grid, and inside that grid we are going to create two different columns like this. Width is going to act as a full grid column 1. That means normally it is grid column 1, but from the large device onwards it's need to divide it into two different columns, and these are the pixels for each and every screen wise level. All right, over wrap. And now inside here, I'm going to create a two divisions. Inside here, I'm going to have two different divisions. Division 1 and division 2, like two different divisions inside here. Div, I'm going to keep it 1, and div, and I'm going to keep it as 2. You can see we have two equal partitions over there. So first let's finish the first part, then we'll move on to the second part. So for this division, I'm just going to say class flex. Everything is going to be in a column direction, because you can see here we are displaying the image, and below that we are displaying the comment sections also, right? So we need to do that. So flex, and flex is going to be in the column direction, and then everything should be in the items starting position, and then justify starting position, and gap it's going to be 4. And instead of this 1, what I'm supposed to do is I'm going to bring one complete division. I'm going to wrap it inside the division. I'm going to bring a video, or I'm going to bring the image, right? So first we need to create a division. Inside here we need to bring a division, and I'm going to copy that class name which I created. All right, so basically I created a class with the height as an auto, but on the large device the height is going to be 600, and in super large device and the height is going to be 800 pixels. So the rest of the thing, everything is going to be just for adjusting the image's height and width, and then the flex property, and then overflow options and everything. Inside here we need to bring that image or whatever it is. So how exactly we displayed inside the media. So I'm just going to copy this completely from here, and I'm going to paste it. But instead of this, the link property, we don't need this link property. Let's delete it and delete it. And I don't need this link over here also. Okay, instead of data, what we need to do is we need to keep it as a feed. Okay, instead of data, we need to keep it as a very particular field, because we haven't fetched that feed from that this particular ID. We haven't fetched that feed from that particular ID. So what's the easiest option is, it's better to fetch that particular feed detail from the data. All right, better to get the feed detail from the data. So for that, what we need to do is I'm just going to change this to feed for the time being, because we are going to create a state here. Use state snippet feed. It's going to be null initially. All right, make sure that you are rendering it with the conditional rendering option. All right, so save the changes. This will not be displayed, and over here currently nothing will be displayed because feed option is currently empty. That's the reason it's not displaying anything. So let's go ahead and get that feed first. So first I need to access that ID from that, because that is what we are sending it. The parameter what we are sending, that's the ID. So over here, what I need to do is I'm just going to say const underscore ID is equals to that is going to get an object. Inside that object only we need to get that use params. We need to use the use params hook. We need to get the use param hook from the React router DOM. Use params hook from the React router DOM. So that's going to get that complete object, parameter object and query object. You will get the params, query objects and everything. I need the params. So I'm just going to access only that particular ID, right? So now I have that ID. So then what I need to do is I need to get that user detail, that get that particular feed detail. So I do have that ID. So inside the use effect hook, I'm going to call a callback function, and inside here I need to write a fetch detailed query. I need to write a fetch detailed query. Just exactly it's going to be same as the fetch query, but what we are going to do, we are going to send an ID along with that. just exactly, it's going to be same just like this. But along with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an ID like double dot. So if I'm fetching this, what's happening? See here, if I'm fetching this, that is going to give me the multiple objects results over here. But I need to fetch only this particular ID. In that sense, what I need to do is after this post and underscore ID field, I'm going to apply a conditional rendering for that particular ID field, and inside here, inside the single post, pass that ID and click fetch option. Now you can see we are getting only that particular ID. How simple as that? Just after the post, we just need to add this ID option, but this ID is not going to be the same ID, it's going to be dynamically updated. So we just need to make some changes in this query format to work with it in a more realistic way. So let's go here, go to the supports, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this string, because right now it's a single string object, but we need to create a function. So export const fetch detail query equals to an arrow function, and through this function I'm just going to share the feed ID inside, and here I'm just going to write a query const query equals to, paste it, so that thing. And instead of this, I don't need to arrange it in any order. Then inside here I'm going to say this property, copy this, and I'm going to paste it over here. But instead of this string data, I'm going to pass that dynamic feed ID inside. All right, so now this string will get replaced every single time whenever the parameters keep on changing, and at the end, right after here, we need to return that query, otherwise the query will never get executed. Return that query, save the changes. Now the support file is done. Let's get back to the feed. That support is done, the query is done. Now let's get back to the Sanity, and we need to fetch that single query just like the same way how we fetch the complete deals. So what we need to do is let's get back to the Sanity. We need to get the feed detail, right? So I'm going to say fetch feed detail. So I'm just going to copy and paste that function. So please pause this video and write this function. You can see I'm creating a function and I'm passing that feed ID. First, I'm fetching the query, which we are successfully going to execute it. So this is the query. I'm passing that ID and I'm getting that query completely fast. Then once we got the query in our hand, if you have that query, then we need to fetch that query. So we will get the data, then we are returning that data, right? That's good. Simple as that. Then let's get back to the feed details. So inside the feed details, now inside this use effect method, what I need to do, I need to call that feed fetch feed details from the Sanity feed details, and I'm going to pass that underscore ID which we fetched from the parameter. Then it's going to return the data, a promise. Inside that promise, I'm going to get the data, and I'm going to set that data to our feed. So set feed the data and the first index, because we are getting the array in that we are getting only one index, so I need the 0th index only. So save the changes. Now once you got the detail, it's not imported, fetch detail, and I think it's showing an error over here because I haven't imported it yet. Save the changes. And fetch queries, detail queries, not defined. Why we are getting that? Support. I added the, so let me refresh this and let's check it out. Expected a following expression, that means we are getting some error in the query. query is so far working in the top layer, then where we missed. Query is so far. What's the problem? Let's go to the console. In a promise, that means over here. Let's hide this. Console.log data. Let's console log it. So there is some problem with the query only. See, the query only, there is some issue. So by the time when I'm copying and pasting, did I made any mistakes? So this is the query, right? Copy, replace it. All right, and inside this string dollar feed ID, save the changes. Yeah, now the problem is solved. You can see we got that ID and we got that index, and now what we need to do is we need to push it to the feed details. The problem is, look at that, now that image is being displayed. So sometime when I'm copying that from that particular place, from the previous this location, I think I deleted this bracket over there, or I missed something. So when you're copying and pasting this query, so please make sure that you're copying it perfectly, otherwise it will lead to these kinds of silly mistakes. All right, so now we are good over here. So we able to display this image over here. So that is so far so good. So now we display this image, and right after this we need to display this comment section. So before moving into the comment section, let's move on to the right side section so that we can able to display these parts, because these are the things that we already have. We just need to take it, we need to display it over there. So let's go ahead and do that. Then we can come back to the comment section. We'll come back to that later. All right, so let's go ahead and do that, the next part, which is the remaining right side section. So this is the part, I think so. Not that one, I don't think so. This, yeah, here we go. This is the second part. All right, so what we are going to do is, so basically I'm just going to make that complete division. So it should take the complete flex, complete width, and it should use the flex item, column direction, everything. Then inside here I'm going to create a division. So if you notice here, this is one division, this is one, and this is one, and this is one. So everything is a separate division. So first we need to bring the user profile section. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to copy and paste that code part over here, so to avoid the timing issues. So here you can see I created one division, like I created one, let me expand this. So you can see I created one division, and inside the division I kept it as a flex and justify and a gap. You can see I increased the gap, and I added that image, and I added that paragraph, so I can able to see the user who uploaded that thing. So right after that, what we need to do, we need to bring this thing. So basically this is a complete division. You can see this is a complete division, and inside that you can see this is a complete division, and inside that division we have one more division, and inside this division we have this two different one icon and one text, and we have this collection object, right? Cool. So this is the thing that we have to do. So right after this user profile division, right after this division over here, now what I need to do is I need to bring that division over here. So let's go ahead and create the division first. So basically that is going to have that flex property and everything. So let's go ahead and create the division, copy, and let me bring that division over here. It's taking some time to load now, I don't know why. Paste it. Maybe because my laptop it's being loaded, that's the reason it's not fetching the property immediately. Okay, inside this division div here, I'm going to bring that copy and paste that styles, so we don't need to wait for writing the styles. Cool. So now you can able to see a bracket, a small border box over there, and I'm going to bring the icon. This is the icon that I'm going to bring it inside, and I'm going to insert, and now that will brings that icon. And right after here, so if that collection property dot length is greater than 0, that means it's having something, then only we need to display it. Otherwise we are not supposed to display that count or whatever it is. Otherwise, if I just need to display the count as 0, that's totally fine. So I'm going to display a paragraph tag if that collection object dot length, if that feed collection dot length is greater than 0, that means if I do have any objects inside, if I saved it, then the collection length will be different. So I will display that length. Otherwise, I'm simply display the value as 0. Save the changes. So currently, you can see it's showing the answer as 0, right? Because none of them saved this post. So then over here, right after here, so we need to implement the exact same stuff, exactly the same stuff what we did for that feed detail section. So we need to bring that exact same stuff what we did in the feed detail. So from the feed, if you check the feed, for already saved what we did, all this stuff, we need to bring that exact same stuff for whatever we did for that. So I'm just going to copy this state, and I'm going to paste it over here, and I'm going to copy this method, and I'm going to paste that method over there right after this use effect function, and we need to import this one. All right, fine. And then what else we need to do? We need to copy that use effect method also. So I'm just going to copy that use effect to monitor this one separately, and this is that method, and this feed object, which is this, there is no changes in it. And we need to get the users object, because this is the place where we are checking the user detail also. So we need to get that user thing also. So user, and I'm going to import it. Then what else we need? Yeah, now all I have to do is to bring that the division. You have to bring that division, that bookmark division. So this is the place, right? So right after here, save, and then we need to import this one also, save the changes. So now you can able to see that, see, since this is not successfully saved already in my post, so it's not changing that color. If I try to, it's trying to fetch that detail. So somehow I did save some post. You can see this post is saved. So let me refresh it. All right, so I did refresh it now, and if I opened it, if I refresh this one, so it's something. All right, so so whenever this ID is also updated, yeah, now it's okay. So whenever there is a changes in the ID, that coloring option should be also be re-rendered, that the use effect needs to be re-rendered, and it should work perfectly. Now you can see it's working perfectly. So this is what it will be displayed. If that thing is not saved, then it will display it in a different color. Okay, so cool. It will not be, if it is not saved, it will display it in like this. If it is saved, it will be displayed like this. So then what we need to do, we need to bring this tags section. So let's go ahead and bring that tags section. So where is that? This division is being finished over here, and this, then the complete section is finished over there. And right after here, I'm going to fetch feed keywords dot length. If the keywords dot length is greater than 0, then we need to display that. All right. Okay, so now what I need to do is, here I need to display a paragraph tag, and this paragraph tag is going to have a class property, like text size is going to be a base property, and text color is going to be a primary color, and font, everything is going to be semi bold. Inside this, I'm going to display the tags colon, and right over here I'm going to render that. I'm going to render it as using a span tag. So feed dot keywords dot map. I'm going to get that tag along with that index, and I'm going to render these span tags over there. And this span tag is going to have a class name. Padding left and right, it's going to be 1, and padding top and bottom, it's going to be 1 pixel, and mx, so left and right, the margin, I'm going to increase it, and rounded, it's going to be empty, and I'm going to add the border, and the border gray color is going to be 100 or 200. Border gray 200. And inside here we need to get the key, and I'm going to supply the key, that index, and I'm going to display the tag name over here. Save the changes. Now that will display the tag name over here. Cool. Now we have the tag name over there. Fine. So next, after the tag name over here, only if the user is logged in, we need to display this free download option. So what we need to do is, over here, if I do have that user object, then only if I do have that user object, I need to render this. All right, either if it is an image or video, it depends. Right, so open the React fragments. Inside this React fragments, so what I'm going to say is, if the feed have that main image property, then open this. I'm going to bring a free download option, copy, and I'm going to paste it, which is an anchor tag, which having a quite impressive button style. And you can see href feed image asset URL, and I'm joining this question mark DL. That means the anchor tag allow us to download that URL, whatever we do have. So that will download that file in our local storage. Okay, so just exactly the same thing we have to do it for the other media, that means the video or whatever it is. Save the changes. Now you should be able to see that button. Now if you click this button, what happens, that will download that image directly from the server. You can see if I open it and I can bring it, you can see this is the downloaded image. Cool, right? So we successfully implemented the free download option also. So this download option will be displayed only if the user is logged in. Otherwise, you can't see that free download option. So right after that free download option, what I need to do, I need to bring a small line, right? So I'm going to create a line. I'm not going to use any HR tag or anything to create a horizontal line. I'm going to create a division with a specific height, with a specific color. So that will increase that. Come on, why it's taking this much long? It's taking too long. All right, so then right after this division, we need to bring that description sections also. So that is going to be a simple paragraph tag. Inside that paragraph tag, we are going to get that description. So save these changes. So why this is taking this much long? The server is not being loaded properly, or my web page it's been slow, or I'm not sure which one is consuming my lot of memory. I can feel that my laptop it's been lagging a little bit now because of my memory pressure. You can see it's lagging because the node is currently consuming a lot of memory space. So if I open this, here we go. Now we can see that horizontal line and everything is working as it's supposed to be. Cool. That I can see the description option over there, the lorem ipsum, it's fine. Then after that, what I need to do is I need to get this suggestion post, the suggested post, right? So basically this suggested post is nothing but exactly the same feeds only, but we are displaying only the top 5 of it. That's the suggested feed that we are doing. That's the top 5 feeds. Okay, so but the problem is over here. So we need to make sure if that feed is a video, if it is a video, then we need to display the top 5 video things. If it is not a video, then we need to display the top 5 images, because we do have 2 different set of categories over here. So what we need to do is, so I'm going to create a division. So initially, because of my laptop speed issues, so I'm just going to stop it a little bit because of the heavy load. Stop it, and let me check the activity monitor. And now the memory pressure, it's been released a little bit because of the node. Now it's stopped successfully, and Chrome is also taking a lot of memory space in it. All right, so now it's fine. And here, let's restart this thing one more time, and let's restart this. So that will restart the server. So it's restarting the development window, and it's successfully compiled. All right, so now it's much faster than before. Cool. All right, so now what I need to do is, after this paragraph division, I'm going to bring one more division, and for that division I'm going to add a class name. Width is going to be full, and item center, justify center, and flex wrap, and gap it's going to be 3. All right, so now over here I'm going to bring that masonry layout. All right, inside this masonry layout we are going to supply this feeds property. We are going to supply the data for our feeds property, and for this feeds property, basically what we are going to do is we need to check, because right now this is an image. We are not supposed to display, when you are giving a suggestions for an image, you are not supposed to display the videos also. So we need to ignore the videos. So from the feed, I'm going to check others media. If it is have that others media data, then what we are supposed to do, we need to get the feeds completely from that. We need to filter it. So copy this, and I'm going to say feeds, and feeds. From the state we are getting the feeds, both feeds. Then over here, if that single feed having the other media, that means it's a video. So from the feeds dot filter, from the feeds we are going to slice it, then we are going to filter it. From the feeds dot slice, I'm going to get maximum 6 or 8 of it, top 8 suggestions or top 5 suggestions, that's up to you. So 0 comma 6, I'm going to keep it 6. All right, so 6. Then I'm going to filter it, dot filter. Then I'm going to extract that particular item. Then if that item it's having that other media, okay, only that particular, if that item having other media, we will filter it. Otherwise we will get that main images. So if this condition is true, we are going to get the feed only if it is having the other video. That means if it is having a video or audio, we are going to fetch it. If it is not, I'm going to fetch the main images. So save the changes. Now, right now, that is supposed to display the, come on, why you are taking so long today to display the data? It's not displaying anything. Why? Inspect elements, console. Nothing's happening. Why? Let me save the changes. Still I can't see it. Okay, I can see something right now. It's refreshing. Okay, the compiling, it's taking some time. Okay, so masonry layout, it's now okay. How come? Let's check whether it is displaying some details or what. Let's open the console.log over here. Here, console.log feeds, inspect elements. Let's go to the inspect elements console. We are getting undefined. That's a problem. What's the problem over here? We are getting undefined other media. Or okay, the feeds object itself null over here. Why that is the issue? We are not even getting the feeds object itself. Why? Then how come it is working now? Okay, so now we have the feeds object. Now if I go here, we can see that now we are getting the details. Okay, so you can see here, now we are getting these details completely. But the problem is with this masonry layout is that that means our query is working perfectly. That filter method, what we are trying to do is it's working perfectly. So let me remove this console.log. I don't need that. And you can see that we are getting this detail. But the problem with this masonry layout is like it is trying to keep, because since this is a large breakpoint, like you can see we added the breakpoints, right? Because since now it's right now it's a large screen, so still it's trying to keep that six feed details over there. It's trying to fit all those 6 feed details inside this location. But I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more hook over here, like is suggestions. So if this suggestion object is true, if the suggestion object is true, then inside this masonry layout, inside that masonry layout, what we are trying to do, we are going to extract that, copy this suggestion and go here. I'm going to get that. All right, so if that is true, if I do have, only if I am not having that is suggestion. If it is not suggestion, then we need to use the normal breakpoints. Otherwise the breakpoints should be only true. So if this false, it will display this 6, otherwise it will display only these 2. Look at that. How cool is that? Now we are getting the top 6 suggestions. So we need to display the text like suggested post. So what I'm need to do is right after this copy and paste it. Instead of field description, I'm just going to say suggested post. So that will display the suggested post text over there. But that is supposed to be something bigger and font semi-bold. So like that. Now we have the suggested post. So right after that, where is it? So where is the grid is being starting? This is the grid is being get started, and right after this division completely, we need to display all the related posts. You can see right after here we are having all the related posts, right? So we need to bring all the related posts over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a division, basically division, and that is going to access all the complete class width full, and px is going to be 12. On Excel device, the px is going to be the 32, and flex column item start justify start. And inside this division, I'm going to do the exact same stuff what I did over here, that paragraph. So I'm going to copy this paragraph along with this division, and I'm just going to change this to related post, and I don't need to slice it, but I need to filter it. Just remove the slice and keep all of them, save the changes. So now at the bottom, you should be able to see, and I don't need this suggestions properties also, you should be able to see all the related posts. Cool, right? Look at that. How cool is that? Now here you can see only top 6 suggestions, and below you can see all the related images post. All right, so it's working how it's supposed to work. All right, so everything is working perfectly as it's supposed to be. Let's get back. Few of them doesn't having the keyword. Okay, I think I forgot to add a keyword. So if it is not having the keyword, you can see it's displaying that black mark, so we don't need that. So what we need to do is, let's go here. If that particular layer is not having that keywords, okay, so this is supposed to display only with having a keyword. So we render it properly, but why we are not getting the data? Why are we not having that data over there? So where is the dog post? Let's go to the dog post. I think the Sanity, for my Sanity local server itself, it's too slow. Dog tags, yeah, for the dog I don't have the tags, the keyword, I don't have the keyword. If the keywords dot length is greater than 0, only if it is greater than 0 we are supposed to display it. So now it will not show that black mark. Okay, so for few of them I think I failed to add that. Yeah, all right, that's not an issue. Now that problem is solved. If it doesn't having a keyword, then it will be ignored. All right, so now we finish the most of the part. So if I click this, that's taking it to the separate thing, and you can see this is not marked as a collection, it's working fine. And if you are showing the related post and the suggested post and the download options, and only one thing that is remaining over here, that we need to implement the comment section. So let's go ahead and implement that comment section right now. All right, so right after that image, where is the image or video that we are displaying? We need to go to the feed details, and where is that? Yeah, here it is. This is the division which is showing that this is the place, that's the place where is video it's getting completed, and right after here we need to display that comment section. So till I'm going to take the complete class, and of course it's going to take the width full, and the py it's going to 4, and flex column, and items, everything is going to be starting position, justify, everything is going to be in the starting position. And inside here, now I need to bring the comments. So it's better to keep the complete comments in a different section. All right, it's better to keep it in a different section. So what I'm different component, now section different component. So I'm going to create a new component and I'm going to say comment or JSX RAFCE, save the changes, index.js, copy and paste it, comments, copy it, paste it, export it, index.js, go here, and let's bring that comment over here. So comments, but this is supposed to be coming from components. And this is supposed to be an object. Yeah. So for this component, I need to send the feed because I need to get that for which particular feed this comment is being added, then by whom this comment is being added. So we need the feed and we need the user. So then I'm just going to So what else that we need to do? We need to get the I'm sending the feed. So along with that, we'll send the set feed method also. Set feed is equal to set feed. All right, these are the properties that I'm trying to send it to a comment. Save the changes. All right, so now we can see that we can able to see the comment. All right, so that means the comment position is perfectly in its location. All right, so now let's get back to the comment section. Okay then, cool. Now for this comment section, so what we need to do is I'm just going to copy this style and I'm going to paste it over here, and inside this division I'm going to bring this comment. So basically, if you have a look at the comment section over here, you can able to see we having an image and we having this input box. If we don't have a comment to display, this area is displaying no comments, unless if you're having a comments. Not for this. For what image I do have, then I think for this, you can see we can able to see this as a nice flower, and it gives the days also over here. Probably I did this part like 25 days before. Oh my god, that's a long day. All right, so we need to bring it over here. So that it's going to have a division, and inside that division it's going to have that image. So let me copy that division, and inside that division I'm going to bring that image, and I'm just going to copy that code and I'm going to paste that part over here. You can see that image. So please pause the video and then please do that part, because basically this is just an image displaying in a round portion, and this is the CDN link of that image. I'm using it over here, and the comments styling and everything, not a typical part. Then for write a comment, I'm going to use a use state. I'm going to create a state called comment. For that, get that message, what message that the user is written in that input field, and then I'm going to copy that input field also over here to get that, to achieve that particular input style over here. So save comment, basically we don't have this method, so for the time being I'm just going to hide this method over here. So now it's supposed to display that text box over here. So what I'm going to write after that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more state over here. Use state snippets is loading. By default it's going to be false. So right after this division part, I'm going to bring one more division, which is basically going to display all the comments over here. So width is going to be full, flex column, item center, and justify center, and gap between each and every object is going to be 2. And if you have a look at it, you can see that it's displaying the user image who posted that comment, name of the user, and you're having this nice flower as a comment. And right after the top right, you can see we are having the moment. So on what exact moment it's being written. So we need to do that. To work with that, we're going to use this moment.js. Moment.js. If you search for moment.js, this is the one that we are going to use it. So you can able to see here that we are having a different time format and how to convert it into this specific options. So I'm just going to use this relative time options with a different date format. All right, that's what we are going to do. And here I'm just going to check if it is loading. I need to display that spinner, and basically that spinner needs to come from components. That is supposed to be an object. Otherwise, what I need to do, I need to display this React fragments. Inside this fragments, I'm going to display that certain options. All right. So here, for the time being, so what I'm going to say, if I have the feeds dot comments object, you can see here, inside this feed object, any one feed object, you can able to see that you're having the comments. If that comments is there, if I do have that object, then I need to render certain things. If I don't have that, I need to render certain things. That's what we are trying to do here. If I do have that inside here, if I do have that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say feed. If I do have that, I need to render this component like feed dot feed, come on, feed dot, okay, that is, I'm getting the, I need to get the feed, and I need to get the, what else I need to get it from here, user object. We can get it from the Redux state itself, but anyway, we already passed it from there. It's better to use it as it is. All right, so now I can get the feed object, feed. So feed, if the feed, oops, so now here, instead of this approach, I can load this and I can say feed, okay, feed dot, if I have that comments dot slice, I need to display only a very few comment, 0, comma. So what I'm trying to show you here is, for instance, let me go to the home option. For few images, for few things, you can see here I'm having a lots of comments, and if I hit the load more option, that is displaying the remaining comments also, right? And that's displaying the remaining comments. So if I want to implement that option over here, that's what we are trying to do. So for to monitor that, I'm going to create one more state, const. So we need to get that use state snippet, right? So we need to get that use state snippet. 1 second, just a moment, I'm lost over here. So I'm going to create one more state with an index of default as a 5. Okay, then by default it will display the 5 different commands, right? So I'm going to supply that index over here. By default it will supply the top 5 index. Then dot map, open it, and I'm going to get that message, and I'm going to open it and render it over here. Right inside here, now what I need to do is I need to display the div property, and as a key we need to display unique. So from the message underscore id, we do have that id property, we can display it as a unique, and of course we are going to display some class style, and I'm going to copy and paste that class style over here, class flex item center, justify center, because we need to keep it as a flex. You can see, so this is the complete division, so flex. Then we need to bring the image, and this is going to be complete section. So let's go ahead and do that. Then I need to bring that image, user image, copy it, paste it, then now it will display that user image. Then we need to create one more division, which is going to display that that user name and the moments So for that, as I told you, what happened? Okay, so for that we need to create, and I'm just going to say cd client yarn add moment. We need to add this moments.js. So yarn add moment. So add it inside your client folder. We need it, of course, we need that package. So let it download and install. In the meanwhile, let's go here and continue our work. So we are right now at the, we finished the image part, and now inside this I'm going to create one more division, which is for our name and for that moment option. All right, save the changes, and over here inside this division, right now we are doing this particular part, this thing. Okay, inside here we have this whole section, right? And in that section we have two different parts, one top area and bottom area. In the top area we have one paragraph tag and another one paragraph tag. Okay, so here first paragraph tag, we need to display that name. Save the changes. I think I really don't have any comments or anything. Why we are getting this error? Comments.js 0 is not okay. This is supposed to be 0, not O. All right, let me go here, and I think I have comment for this one. Yeah, here you can see. Now we can able to see that name, who made that comment, and we need to display that time also, right? So for this particular field, we have to figure it out. What is this ID? Feed. Oh my god, it's having a huge number of posts. What's this ID? A039. So let's find out that ID. Underscore ID property, not this one. Where is the ID property? Not this one. Not this one. Let's go to the bottom. Yeah, this is the one. So let's pin this detail, and you can see, oh, not this one. You can see we have the comments. Inside the comments we have that index, and we have the ID comment, and we do have the created at. You can see the date format. So basically what we need to do is we having the date and also we having the time. So we need to separate these two strings. We have to separate these two, then we have to join them. I need to separate the date separately, then I need to separate the time, then I have to join it together, then I need to convert it into a specific date format, then I can use the from now method from the moments option, from the moments option to get that exact moment, right? Let's go ahead and do that. So we need to convert it into this exact format, then only we can use the from now to get this, because right now we're having the both date and time strings together. So we need to convert it to this exact format, then only we can able to use it, right? So right after this paragraph tag, I'm going to create one more paragraph tag here. I'm going to bring that moments. So moment, of course I need to import that moment object, otherwise I can't use it. So let's go ahead and import that moment from that package moment, and right now here, and that is a method. Okay, so first what I need to do is I need to convert the date. I need to from the created at option. Once again, from the created at option, all right, so from where is that, where is, come on here. All right, so here what I need to do is I need to supply the strings, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a dynamic string method backtick, and I'm going to get the new date. I'm going to get the new date method, and inside this I'm going to supply a message. From the message object I will have that underscore created at object. You can able to see here we do have this underscore comment. Under the comment section you can able to see underscore created at object. We can use this object to get that underscore created at, and I'm going to convert it into a local date string. So this will gives me the date, right? Then after this, one small space. So I need to get it into this format, right? So I need to get it into that format. So small space. Then again, I'm going to repeat the same stuff one more time. So copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. Then instead of to date string, now I need to change it to local time string. So now we got the date and we got the time. So this will be converted in that format. And then right after here, I need to specify the format, on what format it is supposed to be. This is supposed to be in this format: date, month, year, space, hutch, that means hours, minutes, seconds, and whether it's AM or PM. All right, in this format. Then at the end I need to convert it into from now. So save the changes and you should be able to see that thing over here. All right, it's showing that 18 days ago. So if you're getting this exact thing, that's date and time and everything, so this is supposed to work perfectly. Okay, because the server, this user ID which I created, that is a long time before, like 18 days before, that is the date like when this session is get started, and it's showing that exactly as it's supposed to be. Right after this division is successfully completed, then we have to display the comment, the message, what exact comment that message it's having. So that will be displayed over here like really a nice comment. So the comment section displaying options, everything is completed. If we don't have anything to display, then we have to simply say no comments, say the changes. So if I'm opening any other post apart from that, what's happening? Okay, changing, but the ID is not fetching. That's a new issue right now. Whenever we are clicking feed details page, that will get the ID, this ID, and whenever this ID is being updated, that should be re-rendered. Yep, now it's working. Cool. If you're changing it, and now it's working perfectly as it's supposed to be. All right, cool. So problem is I haven't added that ID over here. That's the reason it's not working previously. All right, so it's now it's working perfectly as it's supposed to be. Let me refresh it. If I get back to here, I do have all the feeds. All right, we are having all the feeds. If I open any one, this is a video, it is displaying suggested posts. We don't have anything to display for this. For video, why the suggestions is not coming. Image it's coming perfectly, but for video See, the suggested thing is not working properly. Are we getting any error in console? No, we are not getting any error in the console. Where it is, this is the place that we are displaying the feed. This is the one, right? The suggested one. Filter, this is the one. So let me console.log it so that we can able to see it. Console.log feed suggestions. This. Save the changes. Of course, we are getting the suggestions here. Then why it is not showing it? We are getting the suggestions. The suggestion is true. True. We are getting the breakpoint true only. So feeds, we are supplying the feeds from here. Feeds. How come? I don't understand this part over here. So we are getting the all the related post over here, of course, but it's not showing the suggested post. I'm not sure why, but for image it's showing. Let me check if I'm not using the slice option. Now it's showing, but if I am applying the slice, it's not showing. Why? Or whether it doesn't have any object to slice it. In why? Only one object. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 5, 7 objects we do have over here right now. The other media, the slice property is not working properly over there. If I'm having 6, what the hell? 8. If I open any other media, let's open this one. Let's open this video. Showing only one suggestions, but here it's working perfectly. It's showing all the suggested videos. This is getting quite messier now. I don't know why the code, everything is exactly the same. Suggested post, I haven't changed anything yet over here. It's exactly the same stuff. Slice, feeds. So this needs to be re-rendered even if there is any changes in the feeds also, feeds object. What's the problem? Come on, think. I couldn't able to figure it out. Maybe let me stop this server. Let me rerun it. See, it's taking so long to start the development server itself. Maybe it's because of my PC is too slow. Come on, it's taking too long. It's taking too long to start the server. On start. I don't know why it's taking this much time to start my server, but it's taking very long time to start the server. All right, so now it's loaded, and if I check it now, showing only one whole video, even if I'm having 7 videos in my hand, it's not showing that. But why? But in the console log we are getting the data. See, we are getting all the 7 videos, all the 7 videos that we are getting in our hand. But it's not showing this as suggestions. But for image it's working smoothly. See, for image. So if I remove the slides for this video, let's check it out. Video. Okay, for video it's showing now. Maybe the video, everything is, it's exactly in the same size. Maybe the Masonry layout is not displaying that slice property. I'm not sure why it's happening, but for the time being I'm just removing this slice property over here. Let me figure it out what exactly happening, why exactly it's happening. Right now let's continue. All right, so everything is working smoothly except this comment part. So now let's move on to the comment thing. Okay, so for this input field, whenever this input in the comment section, now what we need to do is whenever the user press enter, so we need to save that comment. That's what we have to do. So on this input field I'm going to create one more method. Where is that comment? Let's go to the comment. Inside this comment, for this input field, the input over here, for this input field you can see here we have this method called save comment. So let's go ahead and create that. Const save comment equals to copy. Maybe because my PC is hanging right now, that's the reason. I think so. I'm facing some issues with my PC right now. It's overloading a lot. Oh god, I don't know why it's happening. An arrow function, and this function is going to be asynchronous method, and we are going to get that event over here. All right, so now that issue will be resolved. And now here, if that event dot key, if that event dot key is equals to enter, if the equals enter, so I'm just going to say console dot log pressed enter from comment. All right, so let me console log. Let's open the console log. Console, and here I'm just going to say we have to get the message also, right? So through this we will get the event. So I need to print the comment in the state. In the state we do have that comment. So let's say sample, and if I press enter, and you can see press enter from the comment, and you'll get the comment, what comment which I typed over there. So now I have that message. So whenever user press the enter, if he typed it, that will be saved as a comment, a new comment. Okay, so what we need to do is, so if I do have the comment object, if I do have the comment with the comment, then I'm going to save it. So I'm just going to say set is loading as true, then I'm just going to add this into the comment. To add this into the comment, now what I need to do is I need to create a method inside the sanity. So over here I'm just going to say export const add to comments equals asynchronous method, and when I'm calling this function, I need to send two different things: one ID and the user ID who made that, and what is the message. These are the things I need to pass it in the comment section. So I'm going to create a doc underscore doc is equals to, so underscore type, it's going to be comments, that's a document type. Then what is the message that I'm sending, that's the comment. Then users, in the users object, and we need to send the type as a reference. Underscore type is going to be reference, don't make any mistakes, reference. And underscore reference is going to be UID, that's user ID. These are the objects that we are trying to save the changes. So first what we need to do is, first we need to add that user ID, then we need to save the comment also at the same time. All right, so what I'm going to say is await client dot create. First I'm going to create the comment, a new comment in the comment document, then I'm going to get that comment ID, and I'm going to put it in that post reference. Okay, so create, let's send that doc inside over here, underscore doc, we'll create that comment first, dot then we'll get that comment. Now we have that comment. Now inside here I'm going to update that post ID with this comment. So we'll get that ID, we'll send that ID, set if missing, we'll set that if it is missing. If that missing, we are going to create a new comments array as an empty array, new comments array. Then we are going to insert that reference object, where after the comments 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 -1. All right, now right after this I'm going to create an array, send an array, and you need to send a reference object over here. So underscore key, we need to send the key, and colon is going to be UUID version 4. Then underscore type, what type it is a reference type. Then what is that reference that you're trying to send? The user ID, which user that particular, from the comment we will get that ID, from the command we'll get that particular ID. So what ID? Then once everything is done, we need to commit the changes. So commit, then we'll get that response. So we'll make that console.log new comment colon, we'll get that response whether the comment is created or not. Save the changes. This is the thing over here. So what we are exactly doing over here is, so you can able to see here, so we are creating a comment section over here. For instance, you can see the type as a comments, okay, and the message, the send we are sending, this is the document type, and this is the message that we are sending. This is the user, as we are sending is as a reference by using the user ID. Then we are creating that document, and then once it's created, we'll get that post ID, and if that comment array is empty in that post array, we are creating, if it is not there, we are creating it, and it will insert it at the end. So we are creating a unique reference for it, and we are marking it as a reference object. Then we are creating a new we are getting that ID, and we are sending it as a reference for that particular post. All right, so save the changes. So then we'll go to the comments over here. Inside the comment section, what we need to do, we need to call that method add two comments, open it. First we need to send the id, post id, so feed underscore id. Then we need to send the user id, user underscore uid. Then we need to send the comment dot then, open it. Arrow function, enter. If everything is working fine, once the comment is placed successfully, what we need to do, we need to get the updated fetch detail. So fetch detail, fetch feed detail, we'll call that method. Then again send that feed id, feed underscore id dot then, we'll get the new updated data. And now we need to dispatch this to the feed detail. So set feed new data of 0, and we have to dispatch this into the cloud also. This we have to dispatch this into the state. Okay, so before that I'm going to fetch the feeds completely. I'm going to fetch the feeds completely, and I'm going to update this data, new data, into the Redux. So const dispatch equals to use dispatch method. So first we are fetching that single detail, then we are updating the current feed so we can able to display the updated comment faster. Then later we need to save it in the Redux store also, so that's the reason we are fetching it later. First we need to display the UI first, then we can update the Redux. So we are updating the Redux over here. So I'm just going to say dispatch, then set feed. I'm going to call that method, then I'm sending the data to that feeds. So after this successfully done, I'm going to use the set interval method. Why it's taking so long? Set interval method. After 2 seconds, I'm going to say set is loading as false. Save the changes. All right, so that's a quite long method, but it's okay. That's totally fine. All right, so now over here, so if I'm adding something, so let me close this. Let's say adding new comment. If I press enter, it's loading, and you can see its comments, it's added successfully, it's successfully created. And if I go here, it's not fetching it and displaying it instantly. If I go here, what is this? You can see a new comment is added successfully, but it's not fetching and displaying it over here. I'm not sure why. Let's refresh it and let's see. Why we can't see that over there? Let's go here. Still it's showing the no comments only. Maybe the place where we are displaying it, it's having an issue. Feeds dot comments. Let's go here and let's see. State feeds. Where is that sunset? We need to figure it out, that sunset. Or let's console log over here. Console dot new data of 0. Save the changes. Now if we are trying to add something, new comment, so once it is started loading, the comment box should be empty. So set comment should be empty. So save these changes, and now if I hit enter, it is created, and now it's showing that command over here. See, adding new command. Problem is we're having that array. You can see we are getting that reference, but it's not displaying it over here. Set feed. All right, I figured out what is the mistake it's happening. So once the feed that we are setting it over here, we are not re-rendering the feed property. So just like the same way, if there is any changes it's happening in the feed also, this entire component is supposed to be re-rendered. Let's go here, refresh the changes. All right, so now if I go here and constantly it's printing it, where it's getting printed. Feed suggestions. This is the place it's constantly getting feed. Still it's printing. That's the reason. Yeah, now it stopped, probably because of the feed property. See, you can see the constantly the feed suggestion is keep on printed. That's the reason. Let me refresh it. We got the detail, and if I go to this option, we are getting the feed suggestions. And why we are not getting the, but over here if you have a look at it, for sunset we're having new comment, we have two different comments, but it's not getting the instant update over here. It's taking some times to fetch the detail. Not sure why it's been happening. See, it's displaying only one comment. When the comment is being successfully placed, five minutes ago. So if I try to find out this feed over here, what is this? This is nature. We need to, what is the title of this? Tags, we need to follow the tags. 0, this is dog, this is, no, not this one, not this one. This, of course, it's going to be the end. No, not this one, not this one. So 13, not this one also, so it should be 12. No, not this one. So 11. No, not this one. 10. No, not this one. See. Here it is. This is the one. Then it, and if you go here inside the comments, we are having only one. See, it's not fetching the updated data. It's not fetching it, or it's not updating it. That's the problem, probably. This is the place where we are fetching the feeds. This is the place where we are fetching the details. Fetch feeds, then we are dispatching it to the data. It's taking some time to process all these functions. So you can see here, see right now, the eighth one, you can see we're having only one record. That's the reason. But actually inside this, we're having how many comments? Two different comments. You can see the comments which we added over here. That new comments, it's already added. It's working as it's supposed to be, but we are not getting the updated data from the Sanity to the local cloud, local storage. It's taking so long to get that server details. Even if it is in the local host, it's not getting that updated information. See, still we're having only one. I don't know why. Let me stop the server. Let's rerun the server. In the client end, we having that slight lagging issues from the Sanity. We are not getting that up-to-date information. I don't know why. Refresh it. Let's hope now we will get that information perfectly as it's supposed to be. Still we having in the comment, see, we are getting only one user detail only one, adding new comment, that particular comment only. Actually we need to get multiple comments over there. We are supposed to get that multiple comments over there, but we are getting only one thing, which is probably 9 minutes before. So the updated data, we are not getting it from the client, from the Sanity client. I'm not sure what exact mistake it is, but everything is, it's perfectly fine. The code and everything is exactly the same code. All right, so let's move further and we'll check it out later why exactly this thing is happening. But the comment, everything is working. So but once I deployed it's so far, you can see that's the reason I checked it like multiple times, so how the constantly, but still it's having that issue from the Sanity. It's not giving me that updated that information. Even if you are also facing this exact same issues, please drop it in the comment section, and if you figured out what is the mistakes or what is the solution for it, please include that also in the comment section. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part, which is probably the search part. So of course we need to bring that filter button and everything. So let's go ahead and do the filter section. So what we need to do is we need to bring the filter section part. So I'm going to bring that filter part now, right now, and so what we need to do is, so let's create a new component over here, new component that's just going to be filter filter.jsx RAFCE, save the changes, index.js, and there we can give filter, copy it, paste it, export it, close it, and here now first let's go to these supports. Let's open the support.js. So inside the support.js, now what we need to do is, so here we need to get that I'm going to create a filter menu options. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it. You can get that link from the description below, and you can also able to copy and paste that code over here, which is nothing but I do have the to address and the label, and I do have the icons. What exact icons? So basically I'm sending the icons as a reference over here. So I'm going to send all those icons as a reference, all these icons as a references. So not as a component. I'm sending it as a references. Later I will use this references to um, display it inside the content, display it inside the details. So let's go to the feed, or sorry, filter. Where is the filter? Over here. So, and inside here I'm going to copy these styles and I'm going to paste it, copy and paste it. If you notice that the filter is going to be a nice like you can see here, you can see that the filter is going to be as a scroll option. So even the mobile screen, it is supposed to be get scrolled. Okay, so we need to do that particular option. Let's go here and let's make it word wrap so that you can able to see it completely. And now here I need to get that filter menu option, filter menu, which is coming from that utils option, filter menu. Okay, that's a filter menu, that's a spelling mistake. Okay, open it, then filter menu dot map, open it. I'm going to get one by one menu and I'm going to create an arrow function to render it, and I'm going to get a filter buttons as a component, which I'm going to create a custom component, and to this I'm going to send the key which is going to be menu.id. Then I'm going to send the label is a property and that is going to be menu.label, and I'm going to send the icon, which is going to be menu.icon, and I'm going to send the to address, which is going to be menu.toAddress. All right, and we need to create an internal export component. So I'm just going to say export const filter buttons equals to open, and here we need to give that label, icon, then to address, and create an arrow function and return this, and that we are going to keep it as a nav link from the React router DOM. Inside here I'm going to bring everything one by one. So here I need to get the icon first. So const icon, it is a component, so we need to get the icon property and we need to keep it over here. And inside here I'm going to create a division which is exactly like this, a division. So for to monitor whether that user menu is active or not, so I'm going to create a state to check that whether this menu is active or not. So if I in the home directory, you can see if I click the home directory, it is active. If it is active, it needs to be displayed like this. So that's the reason we are using this. And if it is active, that icon component will take this custom classes, whatever we are adding, it will then that reference will be treated over here as a component. So whatever the reference I'm supplying, that reference will be assigned to this and that will be rendered over here. All right. So for the nav link, for the to property, we need to stake that to property completely. Then for that class active, so I'm going to get that is active method. So we need to get that is active. Then over here I need to send set is active, set active as is active. Okay, all right, so now everything will be totally fine. So let's save these changes, but this component it's haven't been rendered anywhere. So what we need to do is we need to render it. So let's go to the home container. So right after this division over here, we need to get that filter from the components. I need to display it. So let's get back to the home. So now you can see we are in the home route, so that it's displaying that home route over here. All right, so if I click the photos, so that will takes to the search photos options. All right, so the next part now over here, what we need to do is, so if I take this to the any picture also, so over here also we need to display it. So let's go to the feed details. So feed details, right after this division here also we need to get that filter option, filter components. Let's render it, save the changes. So that will brings the filter options also over here. Look at that, then I can able to easily move back and forth over here. So we need to bring that search functionality. So let's get to the home component. So instead of this division over here in the home container, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it as a banner, this division completely. So I'm going to create a new component over here and I'm going to name it as a banner.jsx index banner, save the changes, RAFC. It's taking too long for the suggestions. Come on. I don't know what's happening with my PC right now, but it's dead slow. Come on, RAFC, save the changes. Yes. So now what we need to do is, let's get to the home container. And from here, I'm just going to cut it out everything. And I'm going to bring the banner over here. Again, I need to wait a few more seconds. I think I need to restart my PC. Let me save the changes. See, it's not even refreshing over here. All right, so now the banner, I think it's fine. Now inside here banner, now what I need to do is I need to bring this the search options. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste that part. All right, so for your convenience, so please pause the video because this is nothing but just a UI design. Apart from that, nothing else. I'm just going to have the search text. So here, this is just the basic design that we can able to do it. Just pause the video and then just create this basic design over there. So what we exactly did is, so let me import this and search, save the changes and handle key down. Let me hide this for the time being because that's the important thing that we need to do. Let me hide it. And then, come on, oh, it's not displaying anything. Okay, so now it's displaying this image, right? You can see basically we are just displaying this text and we are displaying this text and we are creating this search text over here. So now when I handle it down, you can see this is the division, that complete division, which is this overall division and which is flex, and this is that h2 tag, and this is that paragraph tag, and this is that the search icon on the input text over here. Just a normal basic design. So when I'm handling it down, what I need to do is, so basically whenever I'm that handle key down, this button is being pressed, what I need to do is I need to make the user to navigate to that different URL, which is a different route basically, which is nothing but the search route. So I'm sending the user to the specific search route with a search pattern, whatever we are searching it, and we are going to replace it that particular route. So save these changes. Now, if you are searching anything over here, just like the same way, if I'm clicking this illustration, it's taking the user to the illustration. And if you're sending it like anime, if I press enter, that is taking this keyword and sending the user to the anime. So what we need to do is we need to go to the app.js. So we need to go to the app.js over here, and here what we need to do is we need to create a new separate route called this search term, by using this search term, and we need to create a new container over here. Let's go here and let's go to the container part, new container, search container .jsx, and inside here search container, copy this, paste it, save the changes, RAFCE, come on, make it faster. Save the changes and save this app.js also. All right, so now you can see the search container is not imported, and let's import it. The suggestions, it's being so slow. My PC's memory is almost using every memory space. The node is taking too much of memory space, but still it's not working properly. So I'm gonna restart my PC and then I'll get you back. All right, so now I restarted my PC. So let me check over here. Now it's working much faster than before. So save the changes. So it's been refreshing now. And let me open a new tab and let me keep this over here. Let's open that Pixabay app. Oh god. Let's keep this separately and let's send this to the local host. Should be here. All right, this is supposed to be here. Okay, this is supposed to be here. So now the search route, if you're searching something, that is taking to the search container. So this is the place where we need to update the search container. So let's go ahead and open the search container. So the search container is going to be displaying the same stuff and everything, just exactly the same filtering options and everything, just what we displayed in the new post. So let's copy the same stuff and let's paste it over here, just like the same thing, and let's bring that new post PG. Okay, save it. And a filter, of course we need to import the filter. Let's get that filter. Now you can see the filters and everything. So now what we need to do is we need to bring that loading options and everything. So if the search data is being loaded, of course we need to get that. So through the URL params we are getting the search pattern. You can see we are getting that search pattern. What are the pattern that we are trying to get? So we need to get that URL params from the React router and the reuse state for setting that and searching that feeds and everything. All right, for searching the feeds, of course we need to get that what is that, we need to write a fetch search query. We need to write a fetch search query. So basically fetch search query, we already did that, right? So if you go here, fetch ID, this is just like the same way how exactly we are sending this ID. We are getting the fetch detail search. So where is that supports? If you go to the supports, for the search query, so what are the things we need to do is whenever you are searching, so you can copy this query completely from the link which I given below. You can copy it from there. Over there you can see we are searching the post which matching the title with this specific search pattern, whatever the term that I'm supplying, and for the categories also, or even in the keywords also. So if it's able to find out the exact match or a specific matches whatever the terms. So if I start with A, so if that after the A whatever I'm having, it doesn't matter, or ASE, whatever the pattern I'm sending, it tried to find out the exact pattern or whatever the pattern or whatever the text which is coming after that pattern also. So over here we'll get that search query, and let's go to the search container. So now what I need to do is I need to execute this search pattern. So let's copy that use effects method, and I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to import that use effect, import this fetch search query. So basically that search query, it's coming from our Sanity. So let's import it from that Sanity. All right. So, and search feeds and everything. So search, so fetch search query, I already imported it over here. What's the problem is, all right. So this inside the Sanity, now what we need to do is we need to bring that Sanity method. So this is the query. So over here, this is the one which is going to use that search term, and we have to import it, and we are going to fetch it. So now you will have that data, and if I console log it, you can able to see it over here. And basically array, it's returning empty because we don't have anything in that. But if I'm sending it anime, if I hit enter, and now we can see we are getting two different details which is matches that particular search terms, whatever we are getting it, right? So now what we need to do is we need to display this record. Now we are getting the record from there because this query, whatever we return, it's executing perfectly and it's displaying the record. So according to the search term, the query is working perfectly. And now what we need to do is we need to supply this record to the Masonry field. So right after this filter, I'm going to create a section. I'm going to create a section. I'm going to create a section. Inside this section, I'm going to display all the fields. I'm going to bring that Masonry fields and everything. And before that, first what I need to do, I need to, if that object is loading, then I need to bring that loading is loading. Then I need to render this, or else I need to render this. Inside here, I'm going to bring a division div, and that division is going to have a complete styles like this. And inside here, we are going to bring that what is that? Let's create a React fragments, and we need to bring the spinner object. Let's bring that spinner object, save the changes. Now it's loading and you get the object. And now here we need to bring that Masonry layout and everything. So if the search pattern, this is if the search feed arrays, if the search feed let's open it, React fragments. Inside here, if the search feeds dot len is greater than 0, then you'd have some details. Otherwise you don't have anything to display. So if you're having something, then what I need to do, I need to send that detail to the Masonry layout. So let's bring that Masonry layout and let's send that search feeds to that Masonry layout. If you don't have anything, then that means you don't have any details to display. So in that situation, I'm going to display this division. So I'm going to get this sad image from our asset. So right now it's displaying this anime image. But if instead of anime, if I'm sending something else, now it doesn't have that detail. It's going trying to fetch it, and it's showing that sorry, no results found. All right, so this is what this is doing over here. This is the division inside that displaying the image, and the stuff's over here. So basically, if you go here and here, if I'm searching something like, let's say, dog, if I hit enter, that will try to figure it out, that particular dog, and it will display that image over there. And from here you can able to move on to that particular location. And if I go to the illustration, that will move to the illustration. If I go to the photos, that will try to pick all the photos categories. Okay, you can see whatever the category which is choose not photos, it will display. If I click videos, whatever the category which I choose on videos, it will comes up over there. All right, home, it will display everything. So what we expected to do is it's working perfectly over here. So we did. And if I now let me try to add a new command, whether it is working fine or not. So new command for this dog, hit enter. I think this is saved successfully. See, the comment is added successfully. New comment for this dog. The comment and everything is being saved successfully. Even for this dog, or document is also get updated. See, but we are not getting that updated comment over here. I don't know why. Sanity, it's not sending the updated record instantly. That's a problem. Instantly, we are not getting that updated record. This is the problem that I'm facing right now. I don't know why this is a situation, why it is happening. All right, so we finished this part and everything, and we added upload options, and you can able to see we have to fix this my media portion. So let's go to the my media. Where is the my media? Here it is. So in the my media also we have to fix this particular area, which is nothing but we just need to send the filtered record over there. We just need to send the filtered feed. That's all we need to do. So currently inside the my media, so what I need to do is, so I'm going to bring all this required states object. So let's copy that, and I'm going to paste it over here. So don't worry about, I'm extremely sorry about the copy and pasting, because it's already crossing 3 hours for this session. So, and it's almost 3 a.m. right now. So apologies for that. Please pause the video and then write this code. Okay, use state. Let's import it. All right, so then in the use effect method, I'm just going to filter it. Use inside the use effect method, I'm going to filter the records completely. So I'm going to filter the records and everything. I'm just doing the filtrations, that's all. Apart from that, I'm not doing anything else. I'm doing the filtrations. Then inside this, I'm just going to get this division like this. Let's import the spinner, and let's import the Masonry layout. And if you click save this portion, feeds, we don't have this feeds object. So that feeds is going to be the coming from your main area. Now it's refreshing, and it's not displaying over here. Let's open the new post. So this is the place where we are sending the my media, and I need to send the feeds from here. Otherwise it will not work. I need to get the feeds in the new post. Use selector, save the changes. Now you can see these are all the videos and the post which is created by this single user. So if you go to the home, you can able to see this anime, but if you go to your my media, so you can't able to see your that anime character, because that is not created by you. All right, so now the my media is working, and collections, just the collections is also being empty. So let's go and finish the collections also. So if you go to the collections, now that should display only the records which you created, right? So that's the thing that is needs to be done. So let's copy this, and I'm just going to bring that states over here. So don't worry about this. Import it, import the use state, import the use dispatch, save the changes, and then I'm going to fetch the query. If the query is not there, I'm going to copy this use effect method. So whatever I'm copying it, it's exactly everything the same thing which whatever we repeated in the previous stuffs and everything. Just I'm copying and pasting that same code. Not nothing is new over here. If that saved length, the video whatever we are saved, this if this, so over here you can see this is the set saved. If the length is greater than 0, only if the length is greater than 0, we are trying to render it. We are trying to render it, and we are trying to update that array over here. So if you have the feeds object, if your length saved object length is equal to 0, that means you haven't saved. This state is nothing. So we need to get the feeds completely one by one. We need to render it, and inside that we have the collections object that also we need to render it. If the collection ID is equals to the user ID, that means over here, if you saved a post, inside that feed, you should have this collection object, like a multiple users object. Whoever saved this particular post, that user ID, it will be there. So we are rendering one by one feed. Inside that feed, we have the collections users array, and we are getting that single user information, and we are trying to compare it with the logged in user. If that is equals to that, then we are updating that array. Okay, because we are extracting the previous array and we are updating the new value to that array. So this will try to figure it out. It will compare each and every feed and try to figure it out whether that logged in user ID is saved any post or not. Once it's figured out all the saved posts, it will push it to the saved array over here. Then we need to render that array just like this. Within a 2-line, we can able to bring it over here. Just add the spinner object, spinner, bring the masonry layout, save the changes, and use effect is having imported, save it, and set feed is also save it, and fetch feeds is also save it. Now you can see these are the posts which you already saved it in your collection. This is what this code is exactly trying to do. So it will fetch this feed. In this feed, you might have multiple collections, collections inside the collections array. You might have multiple user IDs. So we are loop throughing it one by one ID, and we are trying to compare it with the logged in user ID. If it matches, then we are pushing it into one array. Then we are displaying it over here. This is your collections, and this is your media. And if you go to your Pixabay, and that is the place where you can able to filter it, illustrations. And if you get back to the home, and this is the place where you can able to search it. For instance, if I want a cat, if I press enter, so that will gives you the filter record over here. All right. And if I want to move on to the upload option, the place where I can able to upload a new record. And if I want to update like a comment or anything, I can directly add a comment over here. See, now it's fetching the record. See the new comment for this dog. So it's taking some time to get that data back. I don't know why it's taking this much long to get that data back. So this new comment for this dog we added previously, but it's showing the data right now. Who knows why it's happening? So if you figured out why it's happening this situation, so kindly please let me know, because I've been struggling with that issue for a quite long time. Still I couldn't figure it out what exactly happening. All right, so now the only one thing is remaining. All we have to push this project to the cloud. So Firebase, we need to deploy this project in our Firebase. So let's go to our console, and this is the one which we created. All right, so we haven't deployed it yet. So what we need to do is first we need to build it. So let me stop the first. Let's push the server, stop the server. So what we need to do is over here in the first, what we need to do is, so for the Sanity server, you need to say Sanity deploy. If you say Sanity deploy, this will deploy your running server into a live URL. Give a name for it, Unity Pixabay, something like this. If I hit enter, so that will deploy this into a live server. So you can able to access this Sanity server into a live URL. Now you can see this is the live deployed URL. If I open it, I can able to access that complete backend code, where I can able to alter the post and code everything in the live place. And then over here in the Sanity, you need to, before uploading it, you need to enable this option, use CDN. So if you enable this option, that will try to use this live CDN URL instead of your local server. All right, so now let's go here and run the command called yarn build, hit enter. So that will generate the complete optimized code in your build folder over here. That will generate your output into the build folder over here. So it's been generating. So let's wait until it's done. And in the meanwhile, let's get to the new client terminal and let's say Firebase init. So if you haven't installed the Firebase in your globally in your machine, just run this command npm install -g Firebase tools. You need to install this Firebase tools in your globally in your command prompt. Then only you can able to access this Firebase init command. So this will run that initialization command. So now you can see the global init, it's been successfully done. So project build is successfully done. Let's initialize the Firebase init. So make sure that you are inside the client folder. So in this case, we are going for hosting services. So choose the hosting and press your space bar to select that and hit enter. Now we're gonna select the existing project, hit enter. And here we are going to use the project called, let's scroll down, where is that, Pixabay, not this one, this is the old one, YouTube Pixabay clone. This is the one. So hit enter. So what is the root directory, what you want to use the as a public directory? In this case, we're going to use the build folder. Enter. So do you want to rewrite the all the indexes? Yes. And then do you want, no. GitHub, no. Do you want to build the index.html again? No. If you press yes over here, it will rewrite your entire build directory. So no. So now it's done. Now all we have to say Firebase deploy. Enter. So now it's deploying your project into the Firebase. So it's loading. And here we go. Firebase is deployed successfully. This is your URL. And if I open it, and it's loading that React application, you can see our application, it's been loading successfully now. And it's trying to look for authentication. It's loading. It's taking more than a while now. Why? We are getting a bunch of errors over here. So the problem over here is because of the cross-origin error, because we haven't add all this link inside our project. So what you need to do is go to the server and you just need to enable Sanity. Just type the command called Sanity manage. So go to the APIs, and in this cross-origin platform, you can see this Pixabay Sanity Studio is enabled. So just like the same way, we need to add one more thing. So I'm the admin for this, but why it's showing that cross-origin insufficient? But I'm the owner of this account. How come? I'm the owner of this account. It's not allowing me to add this member. It's showing as insufficient because I'm Pixabay clone 2. It's showing like this. Sign out. Let me sign in one more time. Sign in with Google. This ID. Come on. It's not allowing me to add this cross origin. Pixabay. See, but for in this project, if I go to the API, and that also it's not allowing me to. Why? See, so you need to add that URL over here, just like this. But right now it's not allowing me to add. I don't know why it's showing the insufficient permission in Sanity. Insufficient permission to add course origin in Sanity IO. I don't know why it's showing insufficient permissions to access it, but I'm the owner of my account. It's not even allowing me to. Your member role cannot add web hooks. Your member role cannot add post origin. Keep on showing the same thing. So let's search that. Your member role cannot add posts in Sanity. Okay, that is a command. Add post through command in Sanity IO. That through the command line we can able to add the course option through command prompt using CLI. Here it is. So let's try that. Sanity course add, enter. So allow all the credentials, yes. Okay, so now you can see it's the course origin is allowed successfully. It's added successfully. All you have to say Sanity course add YouTube, that the copy that link and paste it, that will be added. Let's go here and let's verify whether it is added successfully or not. Refresh it. And let me go to our current project, Pixabay clone 2 API course origin, and you can see it's added over here. It's not allowing me to access it through the member function. I don't know what's the problem with this Sanity, but through the command prompt it's enabling. All you have to say, just you have to add this command Sanity course add, using that HTTP that URL, paste it, it will add it to your course. And now if you go here and refresh it, I hope that problem will be fixed within a few seconds over here. Here we go. Now we have the record, and still we are getting that course origin error. I think this is coming from our Firebase, I think so. Now it's refreshing and it's getting the detail. Now we are getting the data, but still why it's keep on refreshing over here, not sure. Let me hard reload it. Getting the data .js. I made this state into a false, but why it's not? Let's copy this and let's put it into a new incognito window, paste it, enter. Let's inspect the elements, and so we are getting the data, but why it's constantly loading? It's constantly loading. I'm not sure. Let's go here and click the authentication or build hosting. Let's go here, hosting, and this is the one. It's added, hosting, everything is added. If I click that, it's constantly keep on loading. I don't know why. We are getting the home container, and of course over here it's added. Token is also added. Can't even do anything with this. See, we are getting the detail. We are getting the detail, but I don't know why it's constantly repeating like this. Let's say yarn start, and let's try it whether it is running the locally without. Now it's a local host. Okay, so in the local host, it is working. It's fetching the detail from the server. Local host, we are getting the details. It's working perfectly. But in the once we deployed, why it's constantly repeating? I don't know why. So the app, J client. Let's build the folder one more time. On build it. The local host, our project is working fine. See, without the local host server, I haven't running my server. It's working fine. So it's even if I'm refreshing it, it's pulling the data from the Sanity CDN link. Through the CDN link, it's pulling the data. It's pulling the data, and it's everything is working fine. It's showing the suggestions, and even for the videos also, it's showing the suggestions and everything. It's working perfectly as it's supposed to be. And now it's built successfully. Let's deploy it. Firebase deploy it. Let's close this. So it's deployed successfully. Now if I try to open it, it's constantly keep on loading. I don't know why. And it's not even showing any errors also. We are getting the detail. It's constantly Guys, I've been searching for this error for a quite long time, but I couldn't figure it out. But finally able to find out where exactly this error is, because our Firebase on auth state change. This is a place where we are getting error. So I tried to create one more else block, and I checked whether what is the result. It's not whether, and then I build it and then I deployed it one more time. Still, it's showing result on our state change. The result what we are getting over here, we are getting null. So that's the reason it's been loading, keep on loading. Yeah, it's not displaying anything else after that. Problem is, like, we don't know why exactly it's been happening. So I tried everything, and then I checked whether I added the authorized domains or not. Everything is been added, and even the Pixabay, we added that API under the APIs. We added that URL also, but I don't know why it's not. But it's working fine in the local host. See, it's working fine. It's getting the user authentication, it's working fine, and it's getting the data perfectly in the local host. But on production, it's not working. I'm not sure why this on auth state change is not working. So let me comment this part completely. So let's see. Let me build it one more time. Yawn build. Still, I don't know why this weirdness it's happening today. It's almost 4 a.m. in the morning, but still I'm looking for this error. Couldn't figure out what exact mistake it was. Still, it's building. So it's built it successfully. Then let's deploy it, Firebase deploy. Now if I run open this, inspect the elements. Something is happening. Cannot read the properties, this UID. We are getting a user object as a null data. This is the place. The Firebase authentication is not working fine. I'm not sure why it's that happening. Maybe let's try reinitiation. Let's reinitiate our Firebase project, Firebase init. Let's choose the hosting service setup, enter, and your public folder is related to your project directory. In this case, our build folder, S, set up automatic builds and deploy in the GitHub. Right now, we'll make it no. Don't overwrite it. This is what we did exactly. I don't know, guys, what's the mistake over here. If you are getting this exact same problem, drop that in your comment section, or if you figured it out, what's the mistake, please let me know. I don't know what exact mistake I've been using, because it's running fine in the local host, but when I'm deploying it to the server, this authentication part, this Firebase on auth state change is not working fine. I don't know why. See, it's constantly still loading. We are getting the feeds detail, but we are not getting that user detail. That's a problem. It's a problem. We are getting that user as an undefined object over here. I don't know why it's happening. But this is working perfectly fine. See, that's exact the same project which I've been deployed. it's working fine. The authentication part, everything is working perfectly fine. I don't know why it's not working. So if you are facing exact the same situation, so drop it in the comment box. Let's figure out this issue overall. So I'm not sure why exactly I'm getting this error from the Firebase. So if you're getting the exact same issue, so please drop it in the comment box. So I hope you guys enjoy this session. So if you are facing any difficulties throughout the sessions, please drop it in the comment box so that we can discuss it further.